charms. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Fun grown doing big ass grows. Red Southern Farms also got the flame. Michigan Rose grows, folks. Just wanna grow something to smoke. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show.
Welcome to the Bro Show Live. What is going on, everybody? It is Sunday. And I see a lot of names in chat that I've been seeing all day over on the Last Prisoner Project Chatathon. So cheers. It has been a day filled with cannabis content.
Oh, yeah. It's been a fun Sunday, watching the football. Sunday included. Thank you all for joining us. Appreciate you very much.
Detroit Lions, baby.
Hell yeah.
Monster trucks.
It was an awesome game.
Gravedigger.
Sparky dropped a link. I imagine that's to the...
Yeah, sorry I wasn't descriptive. I've been high, smoking all day. That was a link to the chatathon. So it's good one mentioned.
The Lions won. Preseason, I'm sure. Preseason.
No, it's week 2, so they're 1-1 now this year.
This shit counts, man.
This
Woo!
one counted.
You see how much I pay attention to.
So they're not going defeated this year, so that's good.
All right.
That's
We're
happened.
not going full defeated.
Yeah, they've gone defeated before.
Fully.
Let's not talk about the baseball team.
Fully defeated.
The baseball team basically went defeated this year.
Yeah.
Baked, it's good to see you. We missed you yesterday for Wake and Bake with the Groskies. Hopefully you guys get a chance to go back and check that out.
I was at work and I was stretching and I sent a shit talking video to Porch Farmer and Sequence.
It was shit talking.
I saw that video.
It was funny.
Yeah,
Stretching?
I stretched for we went go-karting and
You
it worked.
hurt yourself
It
with those
works.
stretches, man.
No, you have to
Cool.
stretch, Red. You should know.
Yeah, but you're stretching incredibly fast. You're gonna
Hey,
hurt.
Red.
you told me I
Red.
needed to stretch.
Red.
Youth, man. Youth.
Red, do you remember the Ace Ventura movie? I think it was Pet Detective when he would bend over and talk out of his ass. It was one of those stretches. One of those stretches.
That's all of
Oh.
you.
Oh, well.
Can I ask you a couple?
It worked.
I often think about that when Baked is talking, actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, then you could probably know what my ass would look like because you were behind me.
Ever the leader, is that what you're saying here, Baked?
One of the races. One of the races. The one that matters.
So he was ahead in one, and Porch Farmer was ahead in the other one.
I like the way that you mentioned in the pre-show. I asked you how you did, and you said it was good, man. I came in just. How did you? You said it in a
How'd
very
you word
specific
it?
way that wasn't. I came in last.
No, I said I came in third.
You came in
Yeah.
third. Okay.
So I came in third on both.
It's racing, dude. Everyone's gonna lose except for the winner. It's fine. It was a good
Oh, I
time.
know.
We had a
I
lot
did
of-
not win any of the races when we went, but man, I don't even care that I didn't win. It was just such a fucking rush, dude.
It was
Dude,
fun.
we were watching little kids go before us, and they were just slamming the walls and each other. It was hilarious. But we're gonna go to a bigger one next, or sometime. There's a couple of them.
Some get came on. I always say.
But
Sorry.
yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
Porch Farmer lost a wheel while we were go karting. So
Yeah.
I was going to pass him, and his wheel came off of his go kart.
I've heard drive it till the wheels fall off, but damn.
He went in the corner and hit the brakes, and his wheel came off. And I was like, "Holy shit!"
So did they bring him another car, or did you guys have to weave
Yeah,
around him?
They
swapped
they stopped it, and they had to look for all the lugs. And
Oh, they got SOP. Sounds like.
Track hazard, man.
yeah, exactly. I was watching this part, and they were like, "We gotta find 3. 1, 2, 3. We're good."
Yeah, nice.
And then they got the card out of there, and then yeah, they gave him a new
They only
one.
have
Did he come back and win the
It
race?
literally took 5 minutes because they just swap you a new one instead of like trying to fix it.
You know what the problem was, Bait? I was doing laps while they were looking for the lug nuts. I drove around. I
Yeah.
thought I wore my battery out, and that's why I went slow.
Oh yeah.
It's your story. You can tell it any way you want to.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
I wonder what the batteries are like.
I am the
He's
heaviest.
the
too.
heaviest too, Skilbo. So you know.
Yeah.
Well, that's saying something, man. Jesus, when Sequence is the fat boy, you know.
I gotta-
Jeez.
Hey,
Right. Like
My girlfriend just called me chubby.
I
get it.
did not.
Chubby chaser.
No way. Oh. So
We
that's
walked away.
why. Let's get.
That's
the
why
scare
she's trying to
update.
get you to go vegan.
But
Sequence.
wait a minute. What'd you say, Painted Lady?
Let's do the scare update while he's.
Oh,
while
let's
he's
hear it.
gone.
Yeah, man.
It has been magnificent. Okay, he's in the other room. I thought he was good. Their other corner. I have tried everything possible, and finally, I hid behind the couch. I painted the whole living room when I was off on vacation, and I finally, because all the furniture was away from the walls and stuff, and so one night I hid behind the couch. And he says I did not scare him this time when
You
he
didn't.
sat down on the couch. And yes, I did. But was it today that I got you? Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, and he finally
Yeah.
admits that I got him today because it was just a nonchalant. What I don't even remember what we were doing.
I was
Having
on my.
mimosas or something.
They were having mimosas. I'm checking my fantasy roster, so I'm on my phone with my mimosa in my other hand or something like that. And I'm walking through.
From the kitchen to the living room.
See, you guys, she repainted the house so that her sweatshirts and stuff match the walls.
Gray and blue.
So she's hiding behind the door, and she got me today. And
I ran and hid behind the door, the side door, and then he came through, and I was like, "Boo!"
So which profanity did he shout? Because that's the kazoo method is, you know, if you're not scared if you didn't swear.
He didn't. No, that's how I know I scared him because what did he say? He was just
Scared
like,
and quiet?
Oh no!
It was more like a damn it.
Probably just
Oh, honey, come here.
that he's been holding the whole time to not upset her, and he probably just had to let it rip that right when she scared him.
You know, it's
Yeah,
interesting farting is because we had the whole fart conversation, and I have been so respectful, and
He
I
has.
haven't farted near her since then.
And you're
she
still
farted.
jumping out and scaring him. You give him no reward. For
can't
that's
believe it.
that's terrible.
Yeah, look at chat. Don't give him a heart attack.
Everybody loves Sequence. They just like to.
So now
act
he's
like they know.
holding in farts. He's getting scared and having to eat.
He's
vegan
gonna have a
bread.
squeaker.
He's living in terror. That's
Literally all day, I'm anxious.
yeah. I feel like yeah. The good thing you have Diamond.
You're anxious all day.
Sleeping with one eye open.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could tell you were anxious all day yesterday.
Because you were asleep on the couch.
Mhm.
or something
Mhm.
like that.
Oh, indeed. Things that go bump in the night.
Yeah.
Well, it's been fun. Let's just say that much. And he loves it, even though he pretends like he doesn't. He's doing Morse code.
Help me.
It's tapping on the table.
He laughs, and don't let him tell you otherwise. My failures, I think, make him laugh more than anything.
We
So
cry laughing every time she tries to scare me. Success or failure. So
You know, I do want to say thank you, Painted Lady, for showing off those beautiful ladies outside yesterday for Wake and Bake with the Groski.
oh, thanks, and you're welcome. Yeah, I mean, you know, I could do a lot more with trellising and staking and all that other stuff, but the ones that are doing, you know, really well are with the yo-yos seem to be doing okay. So I think I'm getting away without having a trellis and stake like crazy and all that stuff. So
You said you wanted them as ornamentals anyway, for the most part. You know, you'd like to get some returnable product, but you weren't trying to overgrow the backyard like that.
I never count on anything from outdoor. So yeah, I'm hopeful that we can get some to harvest, and fingers crossed. We'll see what happens, but especially Galactic Grape, because that one, excuse baby walking all over everything right here. But
I think it's Mondays.
yeah, so yeah, I'm excited. We'll see if Galactic Grape makes it, because just the branching and everything after he topped it really well. The structure looks great. There's good airflow and everything, and so. And the buds aren't huge. I mean, it's, I don't know, 2 to 3 weeks behind all the other ones, it seems like, but it doesn't seem like the buds will get too big where I'll have to worry about bud rot in the middle and stuff. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited.
we've got a couple that have some crazy big colos on them already that are going to probably be a problem.
Fill in.
But that one's nice and even and
That's
really,
triple X, I think, is the one you mean, right?
yeah,
Triple
Who's
X.
got the sirens? Is it us or is it you?
that's us.
I don't live.
The
Yeah,
hood, man.
yeah.
Oh, we get them too, like crazy. That's why I was
I
like,
think
our
that's
windows
right.
are closed, so I was
Yeah,
like,
that's
damn,
right.
it's really loud if it's us.
This ain't the hood, man. We still have sirens.
We're just kind of close to
I
a
don't know, man. I've
Oh.
seen some things in that neighborhood.
Seen some things,
I've seen
man.
some
There's a bunch of
strange
stoners
things.
hanging
Oh, I
around.
remember the story about the lost kid or whatever.
Yeah, man. Like, what the hell?
There was
Like,
like
hold
a
on.
Twilight Zone? What the fuck is going on right now?
2-year-old pushing
It's,
a stroller down the street.
Yeah, the 2-year-old was pushing his own stroller empty. I'm like, what is going on? There's nobody around.
There was a
I-
question in chat, and I can't find out who said it because I was
Basement
It
spiders.
was high tech
basement
farmers.
spiders. Basement
Yeah,
spiders.
high tech farms was asking, are basement spiders harmful to my garden? I leave them.
Yeah, spiders are cool.
What's the
I like
basement
IPM.
spider?
Spiders are good. Spider mites no good, but spiders, yeah, spiders are cool.
Yeah.
Spiders will eat other insects. That's what's cool about spiders. Spiders are predatory.
As long as you're not walking into their webs, they're fine.
Yeah.
And those,
I did that.
Oh,
I
we
did
had
that.
a big weaver web, like between our swings and our post, and like we knew about it all day. We are kind of avoiding the fucking thing between the swings, you know. And Becca came out with coffee. She had coffee in both of her hands and walked right through it. The spider was in the middle of the fucking thing all day, and the spider was just on her. And she
no,
goes, "Yeah!" like with the coffee.
Oh, fuck.
I like put the coffee down.
Put
It was
down,
like,
like-
She's a warrior. Did you scream for her, Red?
The spider was like, "Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit!" It was like
dude,
looking
I-
for the crack, and it couldn't.
Red's probably beating her with like a shirt or something.
And he was like, I can't find a crack. I can't find a crack. And it was freaking out. And Becca was freaking out. I was like, you guys are both freaking out from each other. Neither one of you likes each other. You're cool.
no, right.
no, I knew I was gonna do it. It was in such a bad spot, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not
it
gonna
was
do
a
it.
full,
Then
beautiful
my
web,
ass came up
too.
here and had a dab and got us coffee. And here I am coming down, walked right into it.
Right into it, man.
Yikes.
It
We
was.
had a spider that was building a web between our sofa on the deck and the table, and the same thing. It would build it, and then one of us would get high and walk through there like a dummy, or one of the cats, or something like dogwood or something. And so we're like, let's just make sure we don't.
We had two beautiful weavers on both sides of the swings, like just, and it wasn't the same weaver's web. It was two. There were, you could see both weavers in the web. And they were huge. They were big. I obviously
Did
exaggerated.
you sing to him,
They were
Dreamweaver?
big. I get a little bit close and look at them, and they're kind of cool. You know, they sit there and like flick at me and they'll be like, "What's up, dude? Can you feed me a fly?" I'm like, "Man, you're cool. There's plenty of flies. They're gonna fly in your web. You got yourself."
Are
You
these
got,
conversations you have with the spider?
yeah.
Of course.
Red talks to everything. He talks to trees and mushrooms and plants.
The
All
lady
of it.
next door, she had a tree fall down, and maybe a little
Talk to
bit.
the tree.
We can talk about guerrilla composting. Would it be?
No, guerrilla composting would be composting on ground that's not yours.
Well, I collected compost materials from ground.
And drug things from afar back to the farm.
Have you also taken leaf debris from your neighbors or grass clippings or anything
Not
like
yet.
Yeah, already this time of year. Yeah, by now I've already got a whole tree worth of debris in my backyard. From my
Red is giddy about this fucking tree, guys. You just have to give it to
Well,
him.
I'm out there just what reminds me, I'm outside with Dioji just a little while ago, just kicking it in the grass, staring off into the yard. And she goes, hey, hello, because she could smell me out there, And I'm like, yeah, hey, what's going on? She's like, well, I decided to trim some more of this tree off, if you want it. And she's just like trying to get rid of the stuff. She doesn't have to get it to the city because now she knows I'm using it, So this is awesome now because I have free supply on a beautiful hardwood, man. We all love some good old fashioned apple hardwood, and it works great, man. It's going to line our pathways. It's going to feed our gardens. It's going to add carbon source. Might even give us some warmth in the wintertime when we really need a good fire in the fireplace. Yeah, man. Shout out to my neighbor, dude. Being able to collect
growth in your soil, and that's going to bring all kinds of benefits.
all kinds of stuff, dude. It's gonna be really, really cool. A lot less on the burning of it. We really don't utilize exhausting carbon. We more or less want to capture the carbon and
It's
feed
gonna like
ourselves
line
from
all
it.
of our new beds that
A
we
good
have.
sequestering.
Yes, a good sequestering. So we're gonna use it making gates and all kinds of stuff, man. It only took me a couple hours there. She's like, you got a month, and then I got to get to this because leaf debris pickup stops in November. They quit for the winter time, so you got to get all your shit. We have not put anything to the curb in bullshit. I haven't in at least 5 years. I haven't taken one bag. In fact, I collect people's bags of leaves. They're all just
Red's yard is 3 inches taller than it used to be 10 years ago.
I used to have to keep overwinter bags of leaves in my backyard, and they would get all fall apart. They'd fall apart, and I'd get stuck with these piles of moldy leaves, which I didn't know what to do with at the time. And I'd be like, fuck, and I'd get so pissed because they'd be sitting in my backyard.
Hold on, Red, real quick. Thank you, Eric Jones, for gifting 5 channel memberships. I didn't even know you could do
Thank
that.
you, Eric.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
That's
I didn't know you
awesome.
could do that.
He did it last week.
Yeah, last week, too.
Yeah, somebody else also did
It
it
was him.
last. Oh, it was him. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Maybe it was at the beginning of the late sesh or something. Was that what it was?
Let's throw up
Yeah,
those special emojis if you got them.
Maybe
yeah,
before we
that's very
moved over. Yeah, guys.
Yeah, I do want to apologize for the late sesh this week. That was completely on your old buddy Skilbo fucking it up from the very beginning. So we will be back tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I promise. Sequence will stay up for it.
I'll be there.
I'll be
For at
there.
least the
I'm gonna
beginning.
leave his ringer on.
I will be joining tomorrow.
I'll never miss another one. Otherwise, it won't get started.
It just won't get done. But though, thank you to Red and Becca for hosting it. We took the show over there, and we still brought like 70 people with us. So it was a good time.
Pretty funny.
No, Thank you guys. I mean, honestly, it was great for the channel. It brought a bunch of people our way too. I think we had our most, I'd say, populated. Yeah, the most viewers on a Polarity Science the following Thursday. So a couple days later, when we do go live, we hit over a couple hundred views, which normally we hover around. So thank you all very much for coming over and showing some love on the channel. Again, this week, another show. We're going to have Third Eye Muse. We're supposed to have Third Eye Muse on. We're going to kind of discuss some, new stuff that they're kind of doing and also kind of go back to basics a little bit.
I
On
make
why,
these cool chocolate bars.
why we do
Definitely good.
Oh, it's cool art.
and why we promote harm reduction in the first place. So you kind of got to get back to basics for a minute.
I
think
like that.
there's some stuff
That
getting
is Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on
10.
10 p.m. Standard. There
we're
you go.
going to get back to it's starting to get lighter earlier, and daylight
Soon.
savings is coming up and all that fun stuff. So we'll get back to the 9 p.m. schedule here very soon, actually. Let's say at the end of harvest season, we're going to go back to 9 p.m. Probably
There it
when I
is.
get back from hunting season, so right before the holidays.
Nice. What up for Grawley?
Cheers, guys.
No
Sorry I'm
microphone
late.
problems now.
Cheers for Gully.
I hope not. I don't know. You tell me.
Sounds good to us.
No, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I was running a little late. Speaking of harvesting, we are lights on at 9 o'clock nowadays, and I've been really trying to hit the appropriate harvest times in terms of terpene retention. So that basically means trying to get everything harvested right before the lights come on, or in their dawn, early morning, so to speak, which is of course my evening, almost late night, really. So there's been a lot of late evenings harvesting this week, but I only have 4 plants left in an 8 light room, so I got to refill that sucker back up. It's weird because I run perpetual, but it just happened to time up with 7.5 to 9 week plants or whatever. That pretty much everything in my room came down within the last week.
But what's next?
Well, the addition that Spartan gave me, I guess, would be the only new real thing, because everything else from the Pheno Hunt is still being vegged, hasn't even been cloned yet or anything. I've really just been neglecting them. I'm not gonna lie. yeah, I'm excited for that too. She's filled out in a 10-gallon, taking up like a fifth of my veg tent, so she needs to get in there. But I just haven't had any room. That room was slam packed full, and then it's been a very long and busy week of harvesting. Mostly for fresh frozen. You can see one branch right there hanging behind me of something. But yeah, I took some for flour and most for extracts, and just cycle repeats
back there hanging.
Say again?
Is that your personal smoke back there hanging?
Yeah. I took a top for me,
Looks good, stacked.
Yeah, I happen to have a dehumidifier in this room, and so I'm just like, well, might as well throw it in here,
What's your room smell like in there?
Oh, it's stinky, but I also have a can filter and a fan going, because it would not be contained to this room if it wasn't just for that.
I gotta ask you, man, what's your initial impression on the GML lights versus with the other lights you have in there?
So I have one room that's got 8 HLG 650Rs. I've been running those for about 18 months now, and then I have another room with the 2 tarantulas in them. I think
that's
that
the 8-bar.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's the long legs. You got the bar. You got the panel lights, the actual board lights. Right?
Yes, because I had
I just got that one.
Okay, nice. Yeah, they're sweet with multi-channel spectrum and stuff like that. But I really tried to just blow that room out. It's got 4 10-gallon clementines in it and Michigan mediums bloom, and then it's got 3 10-gallon garlic punch in there. They're all, it's just a very full, dense canopy. I actually went in there just before the lights went on as I was harvesting in the other room, and for the first, so I have a scrognet going across the room. It's about 8.5 feet wide or so. It's just stapled to the walls on one end and the other. There's no support in the middle, Well, as of today, all of those plants are so heavy, they're starting to flush, that they all just started leaning to one side of the room, and I actually had to put up a couple hooks in the wall and pull the scrognet back with some green tie just to keep it supported. So, the weight is definitely there. I do feel like they probably needed a little more nutrients. I did dial back the light about 5 to 10%. I think I had it up to 90%. That was just a little too much, I think, for them. So I think I'm rocking maybe like 80 to 85% kind of at its peak, I guess.
How far apart from the canopy to the light were you? Do you remember?
18 inches tops. I would say on average it's 18 inches. Some of it's maybe close to 12. Some of it's maybe 24. But
you're fucking throwing some massive fucking.
Yeah, dude. I really try to blow them out, and they definitely look like they were flushing maybe like 3-4 days before they really should have been. You know what I mean? But I'm using some sort of powdered. I guess you blend it in with the water. But it's like a flour finisher, which I'm not normally using, but it's an organic amendment, something to just kind of give it a little boost through the last couple of weeks before you really do flush it. Because I knew I was going to have a challenge with having enough nutrients left in those 10-gallon pots of soil. But it's incredibly stinky. You can smell it outside the building for sure, just that room alone.
So you still haven't got to harvest yet on that under those lights?
That room has not been touched.
Okay.
I haven't thinned or anything yet. So I don't know on that one, and I still would like to take it mostly, if not all, for flour. But I got a little room in my freezer, but I would love to have that data.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could just do a test. Do 1 plant in the freezer, and then you can kind of just that's not enough. You need enough for a column, though, right?
Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll see how much.
1 plant might be enough.
Yeah, maybe like 2/3. I don't think it's gonna get me 1,600 grams for fresh frozen per plant, but I'm definitely expecting maybe 1,200 grams per plant or something of fresh frozen.
I know some people, because I have an affiliate code with GML Lights. I mean, that's the truth, but I just tell it like it is, and I am seeing. Now I am using, to be fair too, I'm using the red light, the second channel, I forget what it is, 7 whatever nanometer red.
40, 20, something like that.
Whatever the hell it is. I'm not doing it for sunset or any of that bullshit. I'm running it the whole fucking time during flower. And because it's so few watts, it's like under 100 watts. And so, and then I'm running it at probably 70 to 80% at about 18 inches.
Did you grow that GG4 under that light?
Yes, dude.
Okay, so here's the thing, guys. I've smoked a lot of GG4, and that is some of the stickiest, greasiest fucking GG4 that I've had was from the last run that you did, Spartan.
I'm finding that I'm getting more yield, like just big, chunkier nugs. And I'm getting bigger. That GG4, dude, it was over 3/4 of a pound on one plant.
Hell yeah.
Do you think now that those changes have to do with the white or full spectrum part of the light? Is it the light itself? Is it because you're adding this red channel at 100%?
Well, to be fair, there's a lot of things. I think it's the GG4 was under the 8-bar long legs. I really like the spread on that. I think in my style of growing, I try to grow a flat canopy, so if you can get that even spread of light too to go with it, that's really advantageous, because you can get closer to the plant and get more photons down through the canopy too, and you can pick up yield that way. But I've just started growing under the Vulcan, the board one, like what you're talking about. And that one, I've got that dialed down too to like 70%, because it just seems so fucking. The plants were like telling me, they were reacting like they were getting some light stress. So I just turned it down. But I don't know if it's just the reds. I don't know if I've also switched my nutrients to, I don't top dress much of anything anymore in flower. In fact, I don't. I just use Brandon Rust with Bokashi Earthworks has a product with in conjunction with NASA Agritech, but it's carbon-based liquid fertilizer. That's all organic, because I mean that's the definition of organic. Right. And I just give it literally one dose. It's a 3-part. It's a nitrogen heavy, a middle of the cycle, like you're supposed to use it around flip, and then there's a K heavy for late flower. And I literally give it the plant. I usually don't give it the nitrogen one at all. I don't usually use that at all. And then I just use the one on flip, right on flip, like one dose at flip. And then usually 2 to 3 weeks later, I give it one dose of the K, and I don't give it any more fucking nutrients.
Nice.
And then once I harvest, I amend the soil with some stuff, but that's it. So I'm not really doing a lot in flower.
I do want to clarify. I'm sharing the screen right now, but I am using the Tarantula long leg. I know what you're talking about, the Vulcan, that like kind of flat panel that's similar to the HLG 650R. So this is the lights I'm using. Okay, two of these. Yep, and then the one
I love that the spread on those, man.
That's the other one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's the one I just got.
Okay, nice. But yeah, I mean, they're working out great. I love the multi-use channel thing. I heeded your advice, man. You're the one that told me to go ahead and just throw it on that red channel 100%, the whole time. I have it run until, 5 or 15 minutes after the lights go out, and pretty much that's what I'm doing. And I haven't really thought about it since, since week 2 or whatever that was. But we'll see. We'll get some data. Certainly,
that's to get the test results and or even your results from returns, things like that. I want to answer a question real quick in chat. Somebody asked me, like, what is that stress like? What was I talking about when I said the plants were? For me, I see it as the slight curling up of the edges of the leaves of the plant. When I start to see that, especially it starts at like the tip of the leaf, especially if they're praying up. Right at the tip, you'll start seeing the curl up a little bit at first, and or like later, if it's even more stress, you'll start seeing like what looks almost like nutrient deficiency towards the top of your plant, and like different coloring, like usually yellowing in the leaves,
bleaching.
But I usually see the curl. It's the leaf curl that immediately makes me think that. And then if I dim the light and it doesn't get better, then I'm thinking pests. I'm thinking pests anyway. I'll take one of those leaves off and take a look at it. But if I dim the light and it doesn't get better, then I'm really thinking pests. I'm going to probably spray something.
Speaking of terpenes, my outdoor is getting to the point now where I can smell strawberries from around the house, man.
Nice.
Fucking
Dude.
deep smell, guys.
Nice. Which strain is that one from?
I think it is the smell
sour
of
strawberry.
Yeah, it's that sour strawberry D that's used in things like the Smell of Success and Something Good. Just both fucking wonderful smelling, man. So that's going to be a nice yield on that. This is your PSA to start thinking about your solutions on how you're going to hang and dry this outdoor that you're bringing down. You're always going to need one more coat hanger, one more tent, one more fan, one more jar. So thinking about that right now. We're also getting ready to come into stormy season. So I would be remiss every year. I've made sure to PSA that you guys look into some form of a generator for when the power is interrupted, because those times are coming.
Had a lot of that this year with these storms, though, man. Jeez, we lost power like 5 times or something this year for more than 4 hours or 6 hours. I think the maximum was like 40 hours or something, but it's scary from a growing
with gas prices going up. Get one of those. If you're going to buy a generator, look for one that's multi-gas. Like it can accept propane and it can accept.
Can I throw a recommendation out there? I think I've talked about this before on the show, and Red and Becca have kind of seen the inner workings of what I've had to deal with. But Honda, I believe, has one of the best generators like on the market. The ones you're going to get at Home Depot and Lowe's are kind of pretty standard, low end, but definitely accessible and affordable. But if you have the money, I would highly recommend shopping at Costco, because the reason I bought a Furman generator from Costco, multi reasons, but one of them being that, you can run it off of gas, which has an internal gas tank, or you can connect a liquid propane tank to it. You can just hook it up like you would your gas grill and run it off that. Less wattage, but also way quieter that way. But it's like 3,000 to 4,000 watts. This mobile generator that I can lift on my own. But I had an issue with it. I ran it for a couple events. Changed the oil. During one of the events that just stopped working halfway through. I don't want to get too far into the details of maybe why, but couldn't get it started after the fact. Change the oil, check the spark plugs, clean out the carburetor, like everything you could do with a small engine, or that I personally could do with a small engine in terms of repair and maintenance. Couldn't get the thing started. The biggest reason I bought it from Costco is they have a lifetime guaranteed satisfaction warranty on this thing. So I just, after trying to get it working, I couldn't get it working. I needed a generator for the event at Big Cloud. 2-3 days before the event, I just took the dang thing back to Costco. They put me the full amount on a card. I went and grabbed a new one, walked it up the counter, and walked out with it with no, nothing, no extra dollars.
But did it work? That's the question.
First pull startup, man. You can ask Medgrower too. The first time I started the first one, on the first pull, that thing started up. Ran the lights and the dab rig in the booth all weekend, and no problem since. So I don't know what the issue was with it, but it's been working great otherwise. And Costco's customer service and guarantee on that thing was definitely worth it.
I like how quiet it is too. It sounds much more like it probably is more like an inverter or something.
It is an inverter generator.
Really, really quiet. It was pumping out some good wattage. I mean, no dimming lights or any bullshit like that. It was doing a great job.
10 feet behind the booth, you can't hear it over other people's generators that are 100 feet away. So I mean, it's definitely quiet.
We listened to a RV's generator like fucking 100 yards away, and it was all night long shaking the ground, and it's like, man, we have a bit of a louder now. I'll tell you, on the affordable end, I'm gonna get a lot of like head turns on this one. Harbor Freight generators, I'm just gonna like
beats nothing.
Objectively, right. Objectively, they're price effectively right. They are loud, okay. They will hold wattage. I do get a start on one pull. Now, the manufacturer of Predator engines also manufactures Briggs & Stratton engines. So, I mean, objectively, the engine's the engine. You know what I mean? So,
and Briggs & Stratton are quality.
Briggs & Stratton are quality, top line. They're rated up there with Honda. They also have been used in airplane manufacturing for decades, right? It was one of the original like Cessna engine, Briggs & Stratton engine, or Cessna plane with the Briggs & Stratton. Is an excellent flying machine.
It's loud.
They are loud. It is loud, and it does. You know, you might get some wattage. What is that? Browning or whatever it's doing.
Brownout.
Yeah, you might get a little bit of that. But that also is under pull of having like dehumidifiers and other shit kind of being pulled on it. So holds wattage great for a dehu. Holds wattage great if I have to like toss on a couple subliminal lights and things like that. Obviously, keep your generators outside of your building. Keep them away from people in tents. Keep them away from pets, animals, all that kind of stuff does give off carbon monoxide, which is harmful to life.
I also want to say shout out to Generac, man, because I mean these are portable solutions, but for longevity's sake, there really isn't. I mean, it's probably twice the price to have a Generac put in at like 22 kilowatts. But
You can get them at Costco.
Whoa,
You can-
twice the price, bro. It is about 17 to 20 times the price for a whole home generator that's going to run your grow versus something
What-
you could just get at Home Depot.
how much did you
What
pay
did-
for yours?
yeah,
I'll
what
tell
did
you how
your-
much I-
what did-
no, I'll tell you what I
I'm
paid
not
for mine. You tell me what you paid
No,
for yours.
What did your Costco generator cost?
That was $850.
Oh, that's not
okay.
bad. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so mine is only probably 7 times more.
Yeah, you must have got a deal.
For 22 kilowatt.
For 22 kilowatt, I think it was less than
Which is a
$8,000 for that
shit
thing.
ton.
But it runs. You have to remember that it's tied directly into the fucking
natural
natural
gas.
gas, man.
What's
So
20
it's
kilowatt gonna get? So I can get refrigerator.
yeah, it'll run the whole house. You
22
can run
kilowatt
everything.
22
will run a
kilowatt,
grow, dude.
yeah.
It'll run
Yeah,
your
that's
whole
a
house
ton.
and a small grow.
That'll run your whole grow.
No shit.
Guaranteed.
No
Yes,
shit.
absolutely. I
For,
would-
for
Yeah.
$8,000
easily.
installed. It's,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
really good
and
skill.
well, the
though.
good thing is that this thing does its own weekly fucking checks and starts up and does its own shit. It's
Oh,
PMC.
that's
There's an app. There's an
crazy.
I don't have,
app for
and
it.
I can use my
I'm
phone
telling
to
you,
tell when it's
Generac.
on, when it's discharged, how long it was off.
The best part about that app, though, is when the power goes out, the internet goes down, and when the internet goes down, you can't check the app.
So that kicks back
What's
on.
the fuel source?
No,
You just walk
it's-
out.
No, I'm talking
You got
about
nothing to do.
the regional internet will go down.
all you,
Oh,
all you
yeah,
need,
okay.
all you need for Growly is a UPS backup for your router on your internet.
No. I'm saying when the internet goes down for the region, like
Oh, I
if
see
you
what
know-
you're saying.
Yeah,
Like,
but you got nothing to do, so you're gonna go
Like
check on your
2004.
generator anyway.
Yeah, go chop some wood or something. Hey, speaking
Yeah.
of hardwood, Red, I would gladly take some. That's how I heat my home. I'm not opposed to burning carbon.
Red
I
is
got-
like the
I got-
guy. Red is not getting off
chopping
this
a
wood,
tree
guys.
right now for
Trust me.
Rolly.
You'll see.
It's my wood, my precious.
Shout out to Raptor. I just reached out to him actually on Instagram because he told me to inoculate them. So I'm gonna have to also inoculate all my pathways with I'm guessing fungi spores. I'm gonna figure out what does best. So Raptor, check your
You have to
DM.
inoculate all your pathways, Red.
Yeah, dude, inoculate the pathways, man.
How do you do that?
I'm
It's a
guessing
family show, remember.
You just drill holes,
drill a
Yeah.
hole in the log and then put a plug of mycelium in.
Oh, I
You
would
take,
guess
you take
that would be
inoculated dowel
Yeah.
rod. You just inoculate that. Let the
Drive it in.
mycelium take hold of that dowel rod. You take those little
Plug
dowel
it
rods,
in
just
there.
hammer them literally into that hole, and then you put a wax cap on it so it doesn't have to outcompete anything.
A little bit of candle wax there, right?
Yeah.
For Rolly, I got a tree I'm working on, so
We
you
have
can
a,
have that wood.
Dude, gladly. I mean, I won't be able to.
Are you
burn it
still
for
fucking with that
years,
tree
but-
baked?
Come out with a saw. and help
Yeah.
out.
Dude, I got a farm boss
Do it like a
chainsaw. Let's go. 22
I
inches.
keep going further and further up it because it just won't
All
fall
right,
off
Raptor,
the
definitely
main
talk
trunk.
about
It's getting
There you
dangerous.
go. There you go. Baked. Gorilla says he's got 22 inches for you, bro.
Yeah.
With 22
Big
inches. Oh,
dog.
yeah, that's what we need.
It's,
Bake
uh,
doesn't have a
still farm
saw. He
boss.
really needs a
He
hand.
honestly does need that. The trunk of that thing is pretty fucking big.
I'm getting there, but
What kind of tree is
but
it? Besides a big fucking
I
tree.
think
I
we
honestly didn't even
figured
look at
out
it,
it was
dude.
a maple or an oak.
I'd have to look. I don't
Ooh,
know.
if it's oak, that's a hard son of a bitch.
All right.
It's
Well,
not too
oak
bad
is-
till you get to
Coming
the
out?
center of it, and then it's just like tink, tink,
It-
tink.
Lick it. If it's sweet, it's a maple tree.
I'm not gonna lick it. There's ants all over it.
Inoculate the tree, bro.
Yeah, man. I want to inoculate it now. I'd love to get some fresh
Freshly
meds.
fallen.
I do have to give a huge shout out to I guess my family. My let's see, Daddy Red said that they're with my aunt and my uncle. So shout out to my aunt and my uncle. I want to make sure that they get their shout outs because they're down there hanging out,
Watching
with
us
the
in
fam,
Georgia.
watching us from red states down there. Watching how a bunch of fam damn pot smokers sit around and get high all day.
Productively high.
Mind your P's and Q's out there. No, I'm just joking. Yeah, no, they understand. They get it. They totally understand. As a matter of fact, it's the same family that is a huge influence. Who has my cousin is a big influence for polarity science and getting harm reduction and information out to people. In the name of, you know, the fact that there are poisonous mushrooms out there, the fact that there are harmful substances that get passed off as non-harmful substances or substances that may heal. You know, always trust your source, or if you can, grow your own and gift, gather, grow, and all that fun stuff. So it's definitely
always trust your source. Is that what you said?
Always trust your source. Yeah, trust your source.
Okay.
And be your source.
I will.
Read Raptors in chat. Shout out to Raptor. He said, yeah, the wood chips too, which is another thing. You could make your pads. You could line your pads with wood chips and inoculate those. And he says you can inoculate them with CYS. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Just do the whole paths.
Or AZs with AZYS. I'm not familiar with mushroom. That's short for something mushroom.
Azarescence.
Oh, azarescence. There you go.
I think it's the cyanescence and azarescence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Spartan, you were saying why we didn't want to do that outdoor because you gotta remember it'll suck your nitrogen or something. So you gotta re-amend more.
But
nitrogen.
you can amend for that. You can amend like alfalfa meal or something to get that nitrogen back.
Neem seed meal has good.
Just be aware. Be aware that you're gonna, you know.
We've got a bunch of cover crop. We got a bunch of cover crop through Johnny's, man.
There you go.
No, it's not. No, it's not the old Build a Soil, but Johnny's is a great supplier through. I go through a lot of agriculture. I follow a lot of, like, you know, back in the day when we would always talk about like who do you watch or who do you follow to get information from. A lot of the reason I'm always like stumbling through that is because it's not a lot of, like, I watched a lot of cannabis stuff, right? The Round Table, the Grow Tube, all that stuff, growing shows and stuff, learning how to do this and that. But a lot of like the information that I have gotten about actually growing, not necessarily like maybe environmental and stuff like that, has been through homesteading channels and from people like John Kohler and like M.I. Gardner, people who teach
growing your greens.
Yeah, and a lot of just stuff like that. So a lot of my information comes through that source, you know. So big shout out to just everybody put out information because it's like, you know, it's taking the horse to the water.
You can learn anything on YouTube.
Yeah, you really can.
I mean, that's where I learned. Everything I pretty much knew to start off, you know, growing and processing was on YouTube. So that's kind of why I started my own channel, just to give back that information. You know, granted, it was a different time, 8 years ago, I think, or whatever, however long it's been on there. You know, there's a lot less information. And honestly, the access to information almost seems tighter nowadays, or at least from a perspective of a creator that's been striked like crazy and stuff over the years. But I don't know, these live streams seem to be kind of the most like diverse source of information nowadays versus just someone's viewpoint and experience.
Yeah, I agree, man. I used YouTube for everything from like how to change car headlights to how to like burp a baby, you know what I mean? So when I had a topic, I figured I would share how to do this or that, my opinion on there. And
now we here, baby.
Now we here, you know.
Huzzah.
It's a useful platform for that kind of thing.
Huzzah.
I really like the multiple perspectives. It's great to be able to pull from people who've grown in different ways and different environments and have maybe solved some problems you're dealing with. It's great to be able to just say, hey, I'm dealing with this. This is what I'm trying to do. And somebody can just jump in and say, have you tried this? And that collaboration is like, man, that could take somebody a lifetime to figure out, and to be able to figure out in the length of a show, like 2 hours or something. That's fucking huge just for a grower to. That's why I think we're getting so many of these new growers or newer growers that are producing just the fucking dank out of the fucking gate, because, you know, they just kind of do their homework and get those resources like that.
Well, they can learn from all the mistakes that we made. You know what I mean? We talk about it.
Experience here and there, that little viewpoint, and without all of that struggle.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting like the, you know, that education perspective that a lot of us have put in a lot of years into, and then they immediately can apply it. I did the same thing, you know, just from what I learned online. And that first run is like, you know, it can be phenomenal. And you're like, oh shit, I'm a master grower, you know. And then you like have your second run and everything dies to PM, and you're like, okay, no, I got a lot to learn, you know. But you know, you can also address and identify those problems much quicker now too. You know, there's how many freaking infographics and charts are out there that show you every single pest and every single disease that we might come across, and we're still learning. I mean, VPD wasn't even a thing. I talked about how when we first started off on Reddit, it was like pH. Wait, we have to pH our water solution? Like that wasn't even really like a thing in that community at the time, you know. So it's just we've come a long way. It's pretty awesome to see. But I mean, in the last 10 years, it feels like we made as much progress as we did in the 40, you know, leading up to it. But
the last
who knows
5.
where the next, and who knows where the next 5 or 2 will be, you know. I do feel like with the way the market is going and the economy is going, that innovation and things like that and competition are going to slow down and maybe even be halted to some extent. So, you know, there's definitely going to be kind of a dip in that regard, but it'll come back.
Yeah.
We're just constantly applying other technologies and sciences and solutions from other industries to ours anyway. So it's just like figure out the next one.
And that's my exact point. That's my exact point. That's kind of why I go to like Johnny's, you know what I mean? Because it's more like used through homesteaders and stuff like that. And honestly, you're not getting that green tax. When we go through a lot of these cannabis companies, they have that green tax, man. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I'm getting the same seed for probably a fifth and maybe a third of the price. I don't know, not half price, maybe, I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. I'm not doing math live on air. It's cheaper. You know what I mean? Than by weight. You know, same stuff.
Good call.
Maybe it's missing a couple items.
Red says it every time. I love it.
But, we're also growing a lot of stuff, and we're going to. Well, shout out to that's not mine, dude. That Justin Rhodes does that live, and he's fucking hilarious because you don't.
The American Dream, Justin Rhodes.
While you're live,
we're jumping.
He's a big homestead. He's YouTube homestead.
We saw him at the Homestead Festival.
Yeah, he was at the Homestead.
Oh, okay, cool.
And
Justin,
he was starting to do math in public like he does, and he was like, "No, I should stop doing math."
I'm like, "That's great. That's what I need to use." I mean, that's perfect because I keep trying. I try to do that, and I say numbers, and fucking is just way too many. Yeah, too much info. So off the numbers.
It's nice when you vocalize the way your brain works out loud. You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
We've learned over the last 3 years, Red, how to read you. So we're pretty well versed in Reddy.
Get out a pen and a pad and take notes while I'm talking, so you can reference it.
I wonder what it's like to play a game of Pictionary with your ass. You know what I mean?
Fucking hilarious, dude. Hilarious.
I hope you got that timer because he's definitely going past the timer.
Oh shit! Right?
Pictures are not getting done.
He's the best.
I want to shout out Hemp with Gigi in chat. It's cool to. I met him in the planning phase for the chatathon, but to do a show with him and experience how he runs a show, it was really great. I think it's a fresh perspective, and I really enjoyed just talking to the guy, man.
He's a really nice guy, man.
Yeah.
And he did a lot of work behind the scenes on trying to, like the recordings that I did for audio, I sent those to him, and he's the one that put those together with South Nelson Farms as well. So
it's
a really good thing.
That video was, it's great. It's going to be, I think that's the one that they're going to put at the end to like thank everybody who was involved.
No, I made a separate one that did the thank you for that at the end.
Awesome. So, I can't wait. I don't think I saw it with your voice, so I can't wait to hear it, man. I thought he did a great job on the video, though. It was fucking sweet just watching the different transitions, just transition after transition. And I was like, as somebody who's like,
there's so many people involved that you don't think about and you're not aware of. Like when I signed on to it, Rick was like, "Hey, I'm kind of in a pinch, man. I really could use a co-host on this in the 11th hour." And I said, "Fuck yeah, man, let's do this." So, you know, coming in late to it, I'm really, really pleased with the good vibes and the turnout and the information and the sharing. And it's really just about bringing visibility to, you know, I said in the very beginning of that show, I'm sorry if you've listened to me all day say this, but I'm going to say it one more time. There, but for the grace of the Most High go I. You could be that person that's on the wrong side of the fence for some bullshit that is illegal today and maybe not illegal on Friday. You know, so we can't forget about these people. This, you know, the ripples from the intrusion of the cannabis policing that we've seen in the past has damaged so many people's lives in so many communities. And I'm just, you know, I want to say cheers, and hopefully the day will come that we won't have to have these kind of conversations about people being unjustly incarcerated for their involvement with the plan.
And we've already smashed our goal for this first time. We did it
man.
very quick, and we're at last night with the Dutchies. They're doubling everything for us. We've already got back receipts for $2,500. So that was worth of donations. So that's
Oh,
sweet.
yeah. That's awesome.
That was very cool.
It goes a long ways. Some people who don't know people in jail or haven't experienced prison or jail. Just the commissary, the little money they can put in the commissary for these people. To give you an example,
they exist on $20 a month, man. That's what they.
Yeah, that's just what I said. My
$20
buddy
a month.
told me.
You got to buy soap.
Like,
you got to buy toothbrush, toothpaste, your deodorant. You've got to buy coffee. If you need to buy ramen, you better do that. You need to buy some envelopes too. Now, don't let those community relations fucking fade any further than they already have.
Yeah, man. Like, that's what my buddy told me. He's like, it's crazy. He said one of the struggles was for getting out of jail. He goes, bro, in jail, $20 lasts me a month. He goes, outside of jail, $20 is gone in a week.
Makes him grateful, yeah.
And I was like,
different world, bro.
So you can, even though it's $20 doesn't seem like a lot to some people. That's huge. That's huge for somebody in jail.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that they had the program. You can like write letters, so they'll hook you up with a cannabis offender, or offender.
Well, it's about the reintegration programs as well. It's not just about, hey, you're not forgotten and we realize you got fucked and railroaded.
Yeah.
But it's about them and their efforts to try to help them integrate into society through programming and outreach programs and things like that. And, it's like that mythical win-win-win situation. So if you haven't already, make sure that you go check out the Last Prisoner Project 2022 Chatathon. And after this show is over, please slide over there, because I know they're going to do like a lightning round giveaway of like whatever shit that they have left that they haven't given away. Just enter into chat, put whatever the term word that they're going to use. They'll hit the win, spin the wheel, and away we go. So really good shit. And I'm really glad to see so many names today that I've seen over there and that we normally see here. So cheers, everybody.
Way to sell it, Scobo, by saying whatever shit they have left.
I mean, dude, I've been doing this this is 9 hours and 52 minutes ago. I started this, and I've been smoking strong since fucking 5:30
a.m. Say this, man. Here's a good way to close. Here's a good way to close it. They're going to have an hour, I think, coming up here. I think it's from 10 to 11, so coming up here in 8 minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be
they're gonna be giving away seeds for the entire hour. They're just giving away seeds the whole hour. So cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming. Christmas is coming.
I know. I couldn't believe it the other day. Sequence asked what I wanted for Christmas, and I was like,
to scare you? Is that what you said?
Christmas,
bro. Okay, so she does not want a toaster. I learned that.
How about a toaster?
Dude, I think he seriously was gonna get me a toaster.
I mean, was it a 4-slice or 8-slice though?
It was the belt style.
I was thinking about getting a nice 4-slice toaster where you can put it in bagel mode, so it only toasts half the bread.
Oh,
not the other half.
Wait, they have those?
Yeah,
that's high class.
There's some other stuff you could do with it, but she said she didn't want a toaster, so.
I told him the story about a long time ago. I'm talking like probably 30 to 40 years ago. My dad made the mistake of buying my mother a salad shooter for Christmas.
What is that?
Oh no!
It was like it was kind of like an old
wheel of death.
Wait, no, hold on. A salad spinner, the thing that you.
No. This is like a slicer. Yeah, different attachments.
There's like chops and mixes it.
Like a slap chop.
Basically, a step above.
Well, let me just tell you.
He slept in the doghouse.
35 years ago, or to this day, we still fucking talk about it.
I'm surprised you didn't say 37 and a half years ago.
If we opened the gift for my dad, she was like, well, at least we know it's not a salad shooter.
Hey, well, if you want to buy me a salad spinner for Christmas, I'll gladly accept it with joyous appreciation, because I need one.
You need a salad shooter?
Salad shooter?
No, a salad spinner. One of those like
dry it off
things.
and you wash
Yeah,
it
man.
off.
As you wash it,
drying off.
I have one of those.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, gotta have one.
Best thing ever.
They gotta be like $20. I probably should just order one from Amazon, but I just for 24 years.
Now wait a minute. See, now that's that same $20 that we were just talking about.
On a fucking generator, but You know,
You gotta get
Well,
can't afford
Here you
a
go, Bezos.
salad spinner.
I need a salad spinner.
Steel salad spinner.
Hey, my hands will dry off salad. They
Are
won't
they
like
dainty?
roll a wheel to run my grow. So
I like my salad just to be moist. I just leave it on there.
You like the microbes still on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, the water's just gonna. Well, I guess the water's gonna keep it crisp. So water's
The
probably.
water's gonna clean off all the good microbes, Red.
To
Gonna
be
make
honest,
it
it's
rain
not
on
usually
I'm not down for rinsing my homegrown lettuce. Only the store bought
the
lettuce.
greens.
Oh, yeah,
the greens
yeah,
usually
yeah.
repel the water. I mean, when I try to rinse kale, it just beats
Yeah.
all off it, and it literally looks dry. I can shake it, and it looks
Yeah.
fucking dry.
It doesn't like water.
I
Yeah.
think the idea is to get like
Wax. It's a
dirt
wax.
and shit off of their bugs and whatever.
all I know is it's a
But that's
useful
good
tool,
for
and
us,
I would
man.
like one for Christmas.
I like spraying the bugs.
Well,
off.
anyway,
I'll go to
no-
TJ Maxx for you, bro.
If Santa is listening,
We're already
he really
making
wants
lists.
one.
I've been a good boy all year long.
I don't know what to get her, but it's not a toaster, chat.
Maybe not a kitchen item at all. Would you rather have a thing or an experience, Painted Lady?
Oh, we talked about it. She would rather travel, which is
There you go.
fair.
That's what I was thinking.
I'd rather just go do something fun. I don't need gifts.
Are there any more cool concerts coming up that you guys can crash into, man?
We haven't really looked.
We don't really have any. We just went to. Oh, I just saw last week, dude. Skillbo. Who I just saw last week.
Ooh,
What's up, buddy? It's
the Weasel?
Weasel.
Holy shit.
Holly.
Yeah, dude. It was so funny. He was so funny. I laughed so hard.
Where was he at? Was he in Michigan?
He was right down. Yeah, he was right in Lansing.
Oh, really?
He
Oh,
played like 5 different spots in
I think
Michigan.
we were
over
busy.
the
We
past-
were a big club. When was that? Was that last weekend?
No, it was Wednesday, dude.
Oh,
and then
Wednesday.
he was in Grand Rapids and Holland and Rockford. All this after that, so all weekend.
He's doing a Holland. We were talking about going to the Renaissance Festival, like maybe next weekend.
Hey, we got tickets already. Shout out Costco. 40% off tickets at Costco for the Renaissance Festival. It comes with a turkey leg. But yeah, we got tickets. So let's go.
What?
Did you say it comes with a turkey leg?
Yeah, 40% off
Cooked
tickets. You can buy it
already.
from Costco, and it
Cooked
comes with a
already.
turkey
That was,
leg.
that was the main reason I would go to the Renaissance
It's
Festival.
the king of Henry.
That, and I want a new pair of devil sticks. I want a new.
Can you
What is a
get-
devil stick?
Hey, why don't we do a Bros Grow Show Renaissance trip? Like, I'm ready.
You want me to get a Viking helmet? Is that what we're asking for?
Oh, that's not a good enough experience, Painted.
Not my jam.
I'm glad I finally found a chick that doesn't like
You-
this.
you must-
Finally?
of course,
Well, not. I mean,
Football.
fuck, man.
you have to go shaped like an hourglass. With
Well, of course, if you're fucking, I'm sure ever seen everybody walking around with a big turkey leg is probably
Oh, yeah.
offensive to somebody who doesn't want to eat meat.
dude, it's like slow fucking.
No.
Oh,
It's so smoked. Yeah, it's like eating almost
Oh.
like ham.
oh,
It's
dude,
delicious.
it's like ham and it's turkey and it's so
It's juicy still too.
So when are we going? Like this week? Next week?
Good.
If there's enough demand for it,
Next
I'll
weekend
be
is when we were
If
thinking.
there's enough demand, I highly
tankard
demand
of
it.
wine.
because-
He's
No,
so highly
I've
demanded.
been
It
to a
really
few,
upgrades to double demand.
110%. Double
I've been to a
dog
few of these
demand.
Ren fairs, man, and the first time I saw these guys fighting in full armor with axes and shit, I was like, how do I get involved in doing that? Because that
Or
looks
when you
like
can throw the apples at the guys with their head in the thing, or when you can shoot.
No,
the
these are
crossbow.
like-
An apple?
3-on-3 fights, and they're hitting each other in the head and stuff. And
Well, that is dope. Or the jousting. I mean,
jousting
the
is
impact is
super
insane.
cool. But the
Dude,
rest
that's
of it, I can
intense.
pass on the rest of it. It's really cool though.
Someone last year was sitting across the jousting arena from me that like knew me from, I don't know, the show or YouTube or whatever. And I remember they DM'd me on Instagram, but then they didn't come up to me, man. Come up and say hi.
I want him to say,
they
"It's
just-
a
they
me."
followed
Just shout,
you the
"It's a
whole
me."
time.
Right? You're gonna get a
Really?
response.
Fergoli's less mean than he looks.
Okay,
very
I
approachable.
understand I have a
Free
large
dabs.
beard and I'm a very large person, but I'm a big old teddy bear. I'm not that intimidating. I promise.
Well, you know what, Fergoli? No one can recognize you without your sunglasses on.
I seen him when
I've actually
I
had
first
people
showed
tell me
up,
that.
dude. He had neither on. I was like, "Oh fuck, incognito behind the booth, bro."
no glasses. And
Immediately
no,
grabbed
Man
his
without his
glasses.
mask on, dude.
Yeah. Shout out to Mrs. Fergoli as well. We are almost hash time. Hopefully, you guys have something packed up, ready to fire up and eat your torches and all that other good shit.
So
I do, but it's. I think my
nice.
I think my the atomizer or whatever's dead. It's sometimes like when you
Oh,
don't have
no.
these things screwed in appropriate, like tightly or whatever, they like give you this double blink thing. But like if I start it, see how it's doing that thing?
Oh, that's
What does that mean? What do you mean the atomizer?
Yeah, does
So-
that mean you have to get a whole new part?
This thing right here, which has lasted me, I don't know, probably like 9 months or so, maybe even longer than that, is it's the, I don't even remember what it's called, but it's a certain type of atomizer. It's like their new one or whatever, their upgraded one, bigger surface area, all that. This thing just goes right into this slot here. It's like a quarter turn, and it's tight right there. But it can get wax in there, which can sometimes throw it off. But all you do is double tap this button. It should be starting up, and it's not. It's acting like it's not connecting right. So I may just have to clean it. I may have to charge it. I don't know. But I don't have a dab rig right now, so I'm going to be right back.
Get a real dab rig. What the fuck?
How much are those atomizers?
Like $25 or something.
Oh,
No, that one's like $100.
Yeah, it's expensive.
The new one, yeah, they call it the 3D, and the only difference is the old one's heated on the bottom of the cylinder. This one heats on the sides too, like the whole.
$100. Holy crap!
That's what I.
I don't know. It's like it's up there. It's close.
It's
to
yeah,
100
six. I want to say it's. I
That's
paid
like
60
Sweater.
at Bongs and Thongs in Ann Arbor. They're the only ones that have it within like 40 miles of me when I was looking for it. But you know, like I said, it lasted nine months, something like that. So
No,
I mean,
I'm with
compare
you. That's one of the things. Is like
It's
I know
heavy
a lot of
usage,
people
too.
That like to use
like
the
a-
Puffco,
Yeah.
their
Can you
at-home
hold it up?
dab rig, and I'm always a big advocate of just use a real rig because it doesn't have consumable parts. You know what I mean?
But then buy a good torch.
Yeah, well, then I gotta put this in one cup holder and my dab rig in the other cup holder. Maybe
Well,
I
I
want to
mean-
drink in one of those cup holders.
Use the Puffco for what it's for, and then use a rig at home. You know, I know a lot of friends that use the Puffco only, and you use up your atomizer, and you got consumable parts. In
But
there.
if it's in my opinion one of the best ways to smoke, why wouldn't I use the best way to smoke, regardless of where I am?
I mean, that's fair, I guess. But, I think you can easily replicate that experience on any good piece of glass.
If I had a good piece of glass, that is honestly my problem sequence. Is I've never invested into real solid quality a glass dab rig, right? I really just haven't had that. I've spent more on Puffcos than I have probably glass dab rigs. But
Well, I would
we got a
say it's
decent
more
one.
the bucket than it would be the rig. The rig itself is just for like experience.
The function, yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
mean, it all does apply to it, but to some degree, it being electronic puts it in the realm of iPhones, right? So they come and go every couple of years. You got to buy a new one, and you got to buy a new one, and you got to buy.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I've had 3 Puffcos since they've come out. I've bought more Puffcos than I have phones in the last 5 years.
which is $1,000.
No, they're 3.
No.
Oh well, the old ones are like
I'm
250.
saying you've got
Why?
$1,000
They
into
kept
it.
breaking?
No, maybe $600-700. I always get some good deals with industry folks, honestly.
The Fagroli frugality.
Something like that.
I like the Puffco though. I've enjoyed the experience of hitting one. I do like it.
I was just using the pipe one this week. My friend came over with it. What's that
How'd you
one
like
called
it?
again?
I
I
tried
do,
that,
but it's funny. We were talking about it. The base of the pipe itself almost feels like plastic, but it's not.
It's painted glass, is what it is.
Oh,
So it's just like the Puffco you've got for Groli. There's some glass blowers that'll take the new one. I can't remember the name of it, but they'll put that glass in the kiln and just bake off the color or whatever.
mm-hmm.
The
Some
proxy.
people prefer it to be clear.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's the difference between a clear rig and a painted or a colored rig or a piece of glass, right? Is the fact that you're going to know when it's clean or know when it's dirty. And most people's rigs get dirty so quickly, and most of us are too lazy to clean them that quickly. So a lot of us
Stop calling me out, man.
Well,
I have a negative shout out.
out.
When I first started smoking, I bought a pipe at a fucking gas station, right? And it was this yellow pipe. I thought, oh, this is cool, like a spoon. And it got really dirty. And I said, well, fuck, I got to clean this. So I stuck it in alcohol and I left it overnight. And I came back in the morning and all of this fucking pipe was clear glass. And it literally had like latex paint on the inside of the pipe itself was what gave it the color. So it was laying all inside the pipe. And I said, what the fuck is this bullshit, man? So definitely watch yourself if you buy that bargain basement glass.
We've learned that too. Yeah.
And I would recommend not smoking out of silicone bongs and stuff. You don't want to
The flavor sucks too.
heating up plastic and smoking out of it, it's a horrible experience.
Also, if you use a bong, please make sure that you change the water regularly, because there are times when you make the bong mobile and then you rent a vehicle and go down to West Virginia and accidentally forget that it's in the side passenger seat, and then it tips over.
That's an oddly specific PSA.
So you don't want nasty old, like years old bong water spilling in your rental vehicle.
True that.
So, and the good thing was,
it was a rental.
fresh water was in there.
So Painted Lady changes the bong water every time we pack a bowl, basically.
And it tastes better that way.
Every sitting.
I like cool, fresh water with ice cubes in it. It's just my favorite.
It keeps biofilm out of your bong. It keeps you from getting lung infections, and it keeps the flavor good. And there's a whole lot of reasons to just change the damn water. And,
If
and
you
I
do
know
it
that
often,
like
it keeps the
average-
bong clean so easier. You know.
Yeah, it
Way-
keeps
way
my bong
easier.
clean. As you can see, look, you can see through there right now.
And I know that some people like to claim that dab rigs are hard to keep clean, but if you just put alcohol in there and shake it up once a week, then you'll keep it clean, no matter how hard you use it, and it won't take a lot of effort.
I'm impressed. I've been doing that Chatathon thing all day, and this stuff is not terrible for a day's worth of smoking them. But I do change it once a day. I don't do. I'm not as crazy as every bowl.
I mean, it's not like you have a sink
Well,
right next to
every
you.
sitting,
to
so,
drink
like,
from the sink or some shit.
yeah, if we smoke after dinner, we'll change the
Okay.
water, that type of deal.
Yeah, it's getting some.
Mine's kind of gross, I think, guys.
Yeah, it's got some reclaim. I'm like, we don't have bad water. We have reclaim.
Dab rigs stay cleaner, much
We got
cleaner.
reclaim going on.
Yeah, the
Look at
oil
that.
just accumulates.
It doesn't come
That's
out
right
very
there.
easily. I have to really soak it.
Reclaim.
Get it hot. Yeah,
It's
get it hot. So,
it's like super weird to soak too because of the shape.
yeah. You can put balloons over the holes if it's a weird.
That's a
That's
fantastic
good
tip right
That's a
there,
good
bro.
tip that Sequence said though, is to get it hot though, because it does loosen that shit up and make it flow way the fuck easier.
Mhm.
Follow that up with even just some water. Well, you got to be careful with water. Anything after it's hot, I don't know. I'd be careful putting anything in there.
We're going hot, cold. Yeah, you don't want.
But you can just melt it, and a lot of like I find that in some parts of the banger or whatever, where it's really got a tight curve. Just fucking get some torch heat time on it, and it just melts right down and travels further down.
You can like torch the actual.
Do not torch your rig.
Okay.
Don't do that.
I thought you just.
Yeah,
said.
with Chaz.
Crack. If you're not extremely careful, you'll be very sorry. Yeah.
Like especially like
I won't do that.
You can torch that. What he's saying.
this right here, like right there where it's pinched.
Oh, gotcha.
That's all.
I always got to torch that.
Just go at it, man.
Imagine.
It's really just.
I won't do it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all
We'll
reclaim.
be seeing Becca on a reel.
So in order for a glass blower to be able to use a torch on a rig, they have to put it in a kiln first and heat it from room temperature up to
I got a
being
bowl.
really hot, and then you can use a torch on it because it's not as big of a shock.
Gotcha.
Everything's the same temperature. There's not a cold spot and a hot
You guys,
spot.
you guys ever used to smoke the reclaim in your spoon pipes? You know the glass spoon.
Ugh.
No, but I've dabbed reclaim before.
Oh man, if you hit your empty bowl long enough, the shit on the inside of your spoon
Yeah,
bowl will
man.
catch on fire, and it will just. I mean, I sat there and I was exhaling. I was like going blowing through it, and I filled up my fucking room, dude. Like this little thing was the
Oh
glow.
my god, it smells awful too,
I
bro.
bet that smells
It was on
great.
fire. And it was just like a chimney blowing out, and I was every now and then I'd take a little toke.
It smelled like an ashtray in your room after that.
So bad. Oh, it was,
Ew.
For
Oh my
sure,
God.
dude.
oh, it was so gross.
Is that the shit you did before you grew? You're like,
You
oh,
did that
man,
shit
I'll
3
have
years
it.
ago. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was probably just that was a few years ago. Just
That was a week ago.
I told you, dude. I know, Red.
Not since I've been.
Yeah,
here.
Becca hasn't seen me do it.
You were the only thing keeping him clean.
Chimney trick. I call it the chimney trick. Every night, like you gotta do it with raunchy bowls.
He's done
I
it enough
know,
times that it
that's-
has a name.
Getting
I'm still
weird.
smoking raunchy bowls.
No,
all the
we're
time.
not doing that.
I don't even think we have one that has that much gunk in it.
No way.
I did used to like, obviously the old roaches. I was one of those save your roaches person, but I would save my screens because in desperation,
Towards the screens.
I had a friend that would roll roaches into blunts.
Yeah, those are first
I
generations,
smoked
then
dirty
second
screens.
generations. Yeah.
I smoke dirty screens just to try to clean them out and extend their life a little bit.
My kids used to do that shit, man.
Scrape out the pipes, put all that shit on a straw wrapper, a little piece of rolling paper, wipe the bowl resin on a rolling paper.
Light it on fire, yeah. Throw it in the bowl.
Oh yeah, dude, all kinds of gnarly.
I've done that with wax. You know, rub some wax on a paper, then roll a joint. That's really good.
Yeah,
but
not
reclaim. Fuck that.
Yeah, reclaim flour.
Yeah, that's
reclaim
crap.
flour is so much worse than reclaim BHO or dab.
That's true too. Yeah, if you have a dedicated dab rig, that reclaim is not nearly as bad.
Not nearly as bad as the reclaim I'm talking about.
No.
Flour.
Yeah.
You got to really be Johnson.
The stuff that Red is talking about looks like tar, like San Andreas fucking, you know, the La Brea tar
Like
pit shit, man.
Burnt asshole is what it
Like
looks
what you would mop on the driveway.
Burnt asshole.
Fortunately, as a grower, not only have I not I feel bad about it, but like I have stuff like this that sometimes goes in the ashtray. I mean, roaches go to compost now.
When I've talked about that too, is like growers roll thicker joints too than non-growers.
Yeah.
You go to a smoke circle, you can always tell who grows and who has to buy their stuff.
No. There's the conservation joint, you know, or is that right? Yeah, the conservation.
You know, I roll thinner joints, but that's because I smoke continuously throughout the whole day. If I was rolling cannons smoking by myself all day, I would probably sleep more.
Well, I roll
periodically throughout the day.
I roll small joints, but I have small hands.
A Skilbo siesta.
You roll small joints, but you don't share them with Becca, so you don't have to.
Exactly. Well, that's all right. Red doesn't share them with Becca either, so we're fucking even.
He just likes to dangle from his lip.
He just runs away with them. Like, yeah, I would
Forgets
want
about
it.
him.
He just won't go outside. He'll just take it and run.
And it'll sit on my lip and go out halfway, and I'll be gone for 3 hours, and I'll come back, and it'll be all soggy, and I'll be like, you know what? I don't even want to smoke this anymore. Dunzo.
It's like being kids with my brothers and then like licking your food so that your other brother wouldn't try to eat it first.
That's me all day.
I want to sog this.
That is
all
such
up.
a brother thing, man. My parents used to make us do you split, you pick. So like whoever cut it in half, the other person got to pick which half they wanted.
That's the best way.
Yep.
You cannot be super.
Yeah, no one loses or wins, you know.
No, you're like, shit. Now you get the big one.
Yeah, because if it was up to him, he'd just cut a 2/3 slice off and keep that one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, quick shout out to Red and Becca, man. The fire, I'm still enjoying it. I've got cookies and cream. I got like one nug of that left, maybe two, and then I've got like a half a nug of Citrique left. I've been just savoring the strawberries and cream. Been savoring the ever living crap out of those two last quarters I had, man. Absolute fire.
Dude, I randomly messaged Red and Becca. I think it was either yesterday or the day before, and I was like, "This Rainbow Driver, man, fuck."
Yeah. We're smoking it tonight.
Just like that's all I put in chat. Just randomly in the middle of the day.
I like strawberries and cream. I think is one of your prettiest looking ones. It's the best. I would say it's the best overall because it's got one of the best bag appeals. The terpene profile on it is pretty fantastic, and it smokes great too. That being said, I am more partial to the Citrique terpenes, which obviously is another lime skunk offshoot. It's just super like orangey, limey, just citrusy, like craziness. You guys have heard me say it before. To me, it also tastes like someone is growing lime skunk in a hotel pool area. Like there's that weird like kind of chlorine smell to it too. But it's fantastic on the terp profile.
It does it's overwhelming. It's an overwhelming
I
smell.
love it.
Yeah, and I gotta imagine that's the one that's gonna give you guys like people allergic reactions probably when they're dry trimming it and stuff like that. But Rainbow Driver is like the hardest hitting one. It's just knocks my D in the dirt. I think is the way.
Rainbow it makes my nose run. Rainbow will make my nose run when I'm smoking like two or three back to back. It'll like start to like really.
I just had to blow my nose after hitting a bowl of strawberries and cream. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a sign for me that I'm going to be allergic to that strain. Like when I was working at Mitten, when I walked into the room.
Exposure, yeah.
Which one got you before Spartan?
Well, wedding cake is a big one for me. That usually even some wedding cake crosses will get that. If I smoke a joint, my nose is running. Or I just stay away from the strains now. Now that I know that trigger, I stay away from those strains.
What is it called? It's like exposure therapy or something like that.
Well, the thing is the more that he's around wedding cake, the worse it'll get.
Yeah, I literally
won't acclimate to it. Okay.
Yeah, like if you're allergic to getting stung by bees, your reaction will get worse and worse. It won't get.
Oh yeah, that's not the exposure therapy I was thinking.
Yeah, I think the same thing happens with poison ivy, right?
No, exposure therapy for allergens.
Like it wasn't too bad, like smoking a joint, like I said. But if I were in the room with 150 of them, that's a lot different than smoking a joint as far as the terpene levels. And I think it was one of the terpenes specifically that was the issue with me. And yeah, even trimming it, I'd have to sit in there with a mask on.
You know, I know that a lot of people that listen to this show are growers and have been to some large facilities. But let me tell you something. You haven't been to large facilities until you walk into a flowering room in week 7, like I and some of the panel have. It's just, it's like sticking your face in a concentrate jar sometimes. Sometimes you can feel it in your eyes. It's it's fucking otherworldly, man.
Well,
And then when they close that door and then you
right?
open another door and then it's a completely different fucking, you know, like cartoon blast in the face when Yosemite Sam gets the fucking poof and his whole face turns black and his hair blows back. It's like that with dankness.
Hit in the face with dankness. I like that, Scoba.
Good job to have.
I have a question for you guys, okay? Because listen, we got some pictures last week, and in some of them we were smoking.
Smoking.
And we got asked a question, and we didn't know how to answer it, and we didn't know if it was bad or if it was normal.
My
if it was
cousin.
fine.
You stay smoking what?
Came over to take pictures.
She asked what
Sorry about sending you those pictures, by the way.
our favorite smoking activity, like what
I
we
got
like to
favorite
do when we
activity.
smoked.
What's
Like,
your favorite activity?
If we like to go watch a movie and eat snacks, or like what we like to do.
You
If
said
we
to
like
get high.
We just do life. Like
My answer was
out.
life. I was like, I like to do life.
I think it's a life enhancer for sure. I always like to say that it's a life enhancer, but I also like to be with, I think one of the best things is to be in a community of people. Like when we have our hangs and stuff like that, where it doesn't have to be a big event. It could, some of the best times are like, man, when we went to the lake houses, guys, I mean, the Airbnbs, that's some of my best memories, but just the community aspect with everybody's, you know, enjoying the same thing and we're passing around and all commenting on the same thing and enjoying it together. That is like,
That's the only thing that
Right, man.
differs besides going about everyday life and smoking is getting to do it with other people.
I like
Dude,
to
when
use
we-
it as a reward for doing daily stuff. So, like, if I have to go to the store and do this and that and stuff, I'll use smoking as my reward for doing my adulting.
Yeah,
I
and
smoke
I like to
before
do
and
that
afterwards.
beforehand and right. Exactly.
Yeah, smoke before to get amped up for it, and then it's like, okay, let's go get this shit done. Then I'll go do it. You know, or I'll
I
do
used
enough
to
as
be
I
good
can.
at smoking beforehand and then not doing a lot of the stuff I needed to do.
If you know, it's something you have to really keep it real with yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you have to use a timer on your phone, like, because you can get faded as fuck in the morning, man, real
Yeah,
quick.
Take an extra 20 minutes to do something and then you're fucked.
Right.
Especially if you're smoking stuff like that, strawberries and cream that for early. And I
Those
think
have been
that,
hitting that rainbow first thing in the morning.
that one could be, yeah. It kind of depends on how late I take that rainbow. That rainbow will really get heavy if I take it.
Can you imagine how long Becca waits for Red to hand her that joint sometimes?
Shit.
That's why she got her own rig.
I'll bother him.
She'll poke me and be like, "Hey, let me hit it." And I'll go, "Oh yeah, okay."
I
I
don't
drank that whole cup of coffee already.
You want that?
know.
Just gotta smoke that lime skunk before you go do shit. That's all.
This might be.
That's the
Gorilla
morning
Breath.
dabber right there.
This is Gorilla Breath. Oh, I might have closed eyes by the time.
Yeah, Gorilla Breath is a knockout, man. I'll tell you.
My eyes are just like slits at this point right now. I've been smoking along here all day, and I'm just so pleasantly faded. And I want to say cheers to everybody for hanging out with us. We really appreciate you. I hope you guys are in live chat. And if you're not, then it's okay for you to go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you have it. And then come back and hit live chat so you can, you know, be up to date on all this stuff. If you have any questions, toss them in the chat for us as well, please. I'm sorry, Sequence.
I drank a fucking Monster right before the show because I was just dying from. I don't know why is it so difficult for me to sit here and watch a chatathon. I don't know, but it seems like I was just dying tired, and then at hash time I was like, fuck it, I better take some RSO or I'll never get to sleep. So now I'm in that weird middle ground right now. My mind's awake, but my body's like ready to go to sleep.
So tell us a story.
The story about what?
I don't know.
About life.
Life things you like to do. Maybe in prior to meeting you, you know what I mean? Like prior to your exposure here on YouTube, like in your growing career, what were some of your interests and things that kept you motivated and going?
Honestly, cannabis was more of a reintroduction to me to just appreciating growing things. In my background, my family always had large gardens and did canning, and one of my first jobs really was working on a farm as a farmhand. So I was exposed to it early on, but I always looked at it as just work, because it was always a chore, or it was work where I was getting paid. And cannabis brought the hobby aspect into it, and brought the love of the plant and how cool it was. It was almost like the childlike curiosity back to growing things. And then, of course, I was like, okay, if I can clone a cannabis plant, can I clone a tomato plant? You know what I mean? And when I found out, fuck yeah, you can clone a tomato plant.
Bro, that was the thing for me too.
It's just like you can, it's like,
you can clone these plants. I gotta do it.
A mind blower to me.
Yeah,
I mean that's a good point. Like how how often are people putting this much energy at this level and this scale that home growers do into one single plant, right? Like
they're not doing it for garbanzo beans, bro. They're just not.
Yeah, man. I grew black beans. Speaking of beans, I grew all sorts of beans this year, but I didn't put any really effort into it.
Did you worry about their terps and you know what I mean?
Dude, yeah, I couldn't tell you half. I had to look up when to harvest them. You know what I mean? Like,
I think sometimes in my opinion, and I'm not an experienced outdoor grower, so let me preface my statements this way. But I feel like we fucking over garden a lot of times, man. If you think about a lot of this other produce and the way it's done, the big ag way and stuff, and I don't mean using fucking shit that's gonna, run off into the water supply, but just approaching things. These people have spent 150 years in science to try to, build a better plant, and to try to maximize yield versus inputs. We can learn a lot from that. And it's funny because some of us come to this through cannabis, and then we go to gardening, and then there are other people like you, Spartan, and so many others that have a lifetime of growing other shit before you ever think about, trying to grow your own medicine.
But
it's just all people, man.
The great thing about cannabis, though, is I feel like it's on the cutting edge.
Become a gardener.
No, it's the cutting edge of gardening, whether it's organics or synthetics. That the most advanced growing is really coming out of the can. They're pushing it because there's the
finally catching up, because it's finally being funded.
Catching up, yeah. I don't know if we're advanced or more advanced or not, because I think about commercially growing other crops, and it's like, oh yeah, they've got it down pat. You spray a pesticide over it with a plant that's resistant to that pesticide. Now we have thousands of acres, millions of acres of this single strain of one plant just because it's a commercially viable product. But that doesn't mean it's the best thing. So as hobbyists and home growers, we need to not focus on what commercial growers are doing. I think that's why I like these regenerative conferences and stuff, even though I've never been to one. I like what I'm hearing come out of them and stuff. It's like, all right, maybe that's where we really need to start focusing on. And, granted, I've swapped to LEDs, one of the newest lighting technologies in this industry, or in general in terms of indoor growing. But I've also reverted back to growing organically in soil with essentially water only. I am trying to simplify it, but I also want to grow the best possible plant.
If you ever notice, as growers, if you do this long enough, you usually are not still growing the same way that you started, and you have pretty much conga line through things, because it is a hobby and it is fun, and you do want to see if you can do it. Like, to me, I started off with cocoa, and then I was like, man, I really want to watch. I'm watching this guy High Grow Hybrid, and I'm watching him crush it with these fucking 10-gallon totes, just deep water culture. Yeah. Man, I can fucking do this. So I got into that, man. And then it was like, well, this is cool, but I'm watching these people play with these raised garden beds and trying to use regenerative soil ideas. And I'm really fascinated by that. Let me see if I can grow my medicine that way too. And just to keep wanting to have that continuing education in the hobby and not standing on a hill. Like in dog training, let me tell you something, is the only thing that two dog trainers can ever agree upon is that a third one's doing it all fucking wrong. And I'm so glad that we don't have that approach in cannabis the way that we do in some other hobbies, man. I'm keeping it real. You know what I'm talking about, man.
Absolutely, man.
Like this is about lifting each other up and trying to grow together. Growing with my fellow growers.
I got so distracted by that pussy tail.
I did too. I was really
distracted.
There was a cat ass walking across the screen, and I was just really distracted.
It really
she agreed with what I was saying.
A flag and a cat ass, and I was like,
but yes, I agree, Skillboat.
Along those lines, I think it's super important for everyone to protect the right to grow at home and have that freedom.
Definitely.
To do that. And you know, that's a great segue to the Freedom Fest on October 11th on the Capitol in Lansing. It's a Tuesday, so it's tough. I know it's tough to get to, but man, it would be great to see a huge amount of people show up there. There's even a couple of politicians, I think, slated to speak, so that's encouraging. So maybe we can influence some positive change up there in Lansing. We got to go to them because they don't come to us. They're not interested in hearing what we have to say. So we got to go right to their door and knock on it and let them know. So it's going to be awesome turnout. I've already seen so many people jumping on board with the project. The Michigan Weedsters are the really ones pushing all the efforts behind it. There's a lot of other groups, but Michigan Weedsters seems to be the spearhead. So give them a follow on Instagram and you can stay up to date on that. I think it's just called the Freedom Rally, right?
Yeah, Red must know about it. I saw you guys put on a flyer.
I think it's the Harvest Rally or something like that. Harvest
Michigan Bros Grow Show's on there too.
And
hey.
we'll be there with a table, and we will have some of our slaps, some of our promotional materials, probably our t-shirts and everything. We are not selling anything. However, if anybody wants to donate to the cause, to the farm, etc., that will be available. And you know what? We're also going to be there in support of Bunk Police, where let me do this right because I'm going to have to take a screenshot here. You can get 10% off using this code right here. Here, I'll set that back for you guys. Don't forget to detect fentanyl in any substance. And we discuss a lot of what these substances can, or what these test reagents can do on Polarity Science. Sorry. Yeah, there we go. Here, let's try to get you on the thing. Boom, scan the code. Dink, dink. Bunkpolice.com. Because of paper, let's see, there's a backside to this too. Who are the Bunk Police? And then here's this if you want to freeze this and check it all back. Now, there's another organization called Dance Safe as well. So I don't necessarily favor one nor the other. I just want people to have access to both of them. The reason that we have promotion material with these guys is because we were able to sign up with them and get some. So that's.
Were you guys repping them in Ann Arbor today? I saw something about a post about that. What happened?
Oh, jeepers! Thanks for. Well, yeah. So we were in Ann Arbor. We were doing a little pop up for ourselves at the EntheoFest that was going on there in Ann Arbor, and we had there was
a good turnout, wasn't there?
There was a good, decent turnout, I would say. Surrounding the Diag, numbers wise, fluttering 1,000 people. I'm sure that they'll say somewhere in the range of 1,000 or 1,500, maybe a couple thousand people but throughout the day, maybe even more than that.
Yeah.
It was a solid turnout. We unfortunately were unable to actually display our stuff, so we had to take the table down and stuff like that. So we couldn't actually promote the harm reduction like we wanted to. We weren't selling anything, but I'm not gonna get too far into it. But aside from all the speakers at the event did a fantastic job, and I really, really value all of their time and effort that they put into it. I wish that we could have just simply been able to just we were there. We maintained our ground because it's a public place on the Diag. It's a freedom rally, and we were there in effort and protest, and to have our knowledge information passed along. And we had a couple of people who were actually very interested in dosing and a couple of different things like that, and I hope that they gained some valuable information from us as well. So thank you to all the people that approached us and got a chance to take some of these things that we were able to hand out away from there. So yeah, big shout outs to all of the speakers and everybody out there.
What's the next thing you're going to do, Red, that's kind of related to that?
Well, I'd say we will be at the Harvest Rally here on the 11th with everybody. There's also going to be I believe another similar rally for plant entheogens at the Capitol on the 18th of October. And that one has to do more for the I really have to look into it. It's not called the Decrim Michigan anymore, Decrim Nature model. They're actually moving the Decrim Michigan model onto something that has a better appeal to it, to those that might be, thinking about this as a ballot initiative. So, Decrim Michigan, I think, is still part of, or I really don't know any ins and outs about that, but there's another one going on there. And then we're going to attend the Big Cloud. We're going to try to get out to Jones and just kind of go to the Big Cloud and show face and kind of just hang out there in October. We're actually very low on products, so we can't vend, at least not for marketing. Like, it wouldn't be a good, like, we could very much get a booth and just probably give away stickers and stuff there, but it's...
Hey, I had someone approach me and ask if I was just doing marketing for my brand or some sort of charity thing at the last Big Cloud event. So,
Hey, sometimes it helps. We just don't have anything to sell if we were giving anything away. So, so we don't even have anything to give away at the moment. But the next event after that, I think, is in November, which is going to be an organic cup. I think that Big Cloud is teamed up with the Organic Cup, and they're doing an event in New York this next couple of weeks, but they're also doing that as well as a collaboration at the end of harvest season there in November, like November 9th through the 11th, or the 11th through the 13th, something like that.
One of those two.
Which is actually right before, if anybody goes to a deer camp, that's right before opening day here.
15th.
A lot of family.
That's before you go out wook-footing under the moonlight trying to find a Yeti out there.
Please tell me you don't.
You and Daddy Red.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to get up in the woods in October.
Are you gonna barefoot bow? Do you have a compound bow? Are you using like a?
You don't gotta go all the way up north to see Yeti and Amanda. They're close to you guys.
Please tell me
No
you're
shit,
hunting
that's
with
the
a
wrong way.
recurve.
We do have to go see Yeti and Amanda, and we also have to go restock on some alcohol for the Ito, because we need to make sure we bring some more medicine to Big Cloud, and then in doing so, we're gonna make a nice trip, probably hang out with Mama Red, Daddy Red, and then go see Yeti and Amanda at some point. But no, you're right. They're more by us. We mean the actual Bigfoot, the Bigfoots that we go find in the woods every year.
Squanching, man.
Sam Squanch. And yeah, man, Sam Squanch is up there. He's up there for sure. He's up there bouncing around, and I'm going to go say what's up to him, bump some more elbows with him, or shit my pants when I see him, because that's pretty much what I did the first time.
And his terps, man. His terps are fucking super, just swampy, dank wook.
That is always a good time. No, I definitely don't go trampling through the forest barefoot, at least not that time of season. Hey, and by the way, it is currently hunting season for something. So that is always, it is foraging season, but it's also hunting season.
Hey, dude, I counted it today. I had 26 wild turkeys come through my yard today. All the little chicks and shit, they're growing so fast.
There's fur bear season. There's well, right now actually there's like an early doe season that like just hit.
It's like it's a specialized hunt though.
There's that also goes on. There's a what would it be?
So fancy.
Well, there's a hunt for people that are handicapped in some sort of a way,
and youth hunts and stuff like that.
Youth hunts that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the woods or in the forest, it's not required to wear
orange,
ever, but just throw a hat on. It doesn't take much, or have on an orange scarf or something. It's not so much that a hunter sees their target, but you want to make sure the hunter knows what's beyond their target in case they miss or something may go through the target. It's mostly important that they see you beyond their target, or it's very rare that they're going to think that you are their target.
Not beyond their target. Yeah. Clear of the target.
Yeah, stay clear of targets. If you do see turkeys and stuff like that, stay 50 feet. Now
is not the time to cosplay your Rudolph costume for the Christmas party this year. Do not go out in the woods and see how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like anyone.
My furry costume, man.
That's what I
No
was saying.
furry
Maybe use
costume
the
fittings.
Yeti, the Chewbacca costume out there. You know.
I'm not gonna say don't go hiking and don't go foraging, because please, by all means, go into the woods and have all those are safe activities. Do them all.
But wear orange.
Wear a little bit of orange. Do them safely, because
Blaze orange, red blaze.
Yeah, blaze orange. I'm in the woods, you
Burnt
know, and
orange.
I don't want to be responsible for not seeing beyond my target. You know what I mean?
How often is this an issue? I'm really curious now because I
Depends
feel
on where
like,
you're at. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
See
mean,
what
and just
Blue
in
Gift is
Michigan in
saying.
general.
just hunting accidents, man. Just
It
random
all comes
hunting
up.
accidents. A lot of times it's just within groups of people that might be hunting, where they might like shoot the game that might be in between each other. You know, that's a terrible one.
That's a cross corridor. Yeah, that's horrible.
You never cross. You always shoot away from each other straight
Red,
forward.
that becomes an
Cross.
abattoir.
Yeah,
a
you never
killing
go,
field.
You never go into your other party's pathway ever. You don't shoot at anything in between parties. If something goes in between parties, it goes in between parties and it gets away.
Somebody needs to move further down the hill.
Exactly.
I just want to say, and according to the DNR here in Michigan, between the years of 2015 and 2020, there were a total of 38 hunting-related injuries, of which 18 were deaths.
Damn.
And 13 of those were in 2015 alone.
What
not that many.
What was the range?
2015 to 2020, so a 6-year
Holy shit,
range.
man. Damn. That's like a few a year.
5, 6.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean 13 in 1 year, and then basically one per year after that. I mean, I've heard some horror stories too of people, you know, like guys with maybe a concealed pistol or a pistol like that.
Bro,
I mean, we've heard of. I mean, probably the most common one is falling out of your tree stand, right? I mean, that's
Oh,
gotta
I
yeah,
happen.
have an uncle. I have an uncle who is paralyzed from that.
That's for Daddy Red.
He fell asleep in the tree stand
Oh,
and
yeah.
fucking woke up on the ground, and he hasn't been able to be out of bed for 32 years now.
Fucking
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, wear your harnesses, guys. You don't have to be a badass. You guys
Strap
are
in, dude.
22, 24 feet up in a tree. You're not going to do well falling from that
It's a
high.
real thing, man. Falling asleep in tree stands is a real thing. Like I was making a joke a minute ago about Daddy Red falling on a tree, but he fell out of 2 trees in a day. And he's incredibly lucky.
Is he Stretch Armstrong or something? He can take this as a rubber band?
I was kicking around. I was kicking around at the bottom of the tree and fucking around. My brother's like, "Get over here, squirt!" You know, pulls me by the ear, grabs me, and pulls me by the ponytail. I didn't have a ponytail. Pulls me right out of the way, and all of a sudden, Dad hits the ground from 15, 16 feet up. He was putting in tree climbers, and one of the tree climbers came out.
Damn.
Daddy Red is big time experience with putting up trees.
Indestructible.
He has tree stands that he built because he was an old machine repairman, so he build tree stands and shit like that.
Are the trees like growing around the
Yeah,
middle and stuff
He would
now?
build himself climbers, or he would like get welders to help him out and build him some climbers and shit like that. And he had all kinds of shit that would get made at work and all kinds of cool stuff, or that like people from work would help him build. And like it was really really cool seeing that stuff as a kid. You know, resourcefulness. And yeah, man. And then so a couple hours later, we're setting up another tree stand. In this tree stand, of course, I think that it might have been one of the one of the homemade ones. The bottom fell out like a trap door, so kind of like trap door style.
Jesus.
And thankfully, he was strapped in and he didn't fall out of the tree stand because 15, 20 feet up. He slammed up against the tree and was just kind
That
of
shit hurts too, though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Still
dude,
get the
he
wind
was
knocked out of you. Still break a rib,
he was
pop a shoulder. I mean,
I was maybe 11 or 12 years old, 10 or 11 years old. So, fortunately, he did not hurt himself. Thankfully. Oh my God, dude, twice in a day. But yeah, that like those are just simple hunting accidents. So you're absolutely right. And then, yeah,
That means it's time to go back to camp and fucking chill out for the rest of the day.
I think that's what we did, man.
the rest of the weekend. Hey, speaking of hunting and that kind of stuff, raccoon update here from the Fergoli farm. My dog, as of 36 hours, or I guess about 48 hours ago, killed another raccoon, brought it home. I think that is
shit.
like raccoon number 6 this year or something.
What kind of dog do you have?
So,
Mastiff Pit.
so are you
Yeah.
you squeeze these things and trying to get the $5 you can get for the pelt or whatever it is?
For
No,
Girly the fur trapper.
dude, I've thought about it, like making one of those sweet Daniel whatever Boone hats or
Daniel
whatever.
Boone,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like my grandpa had a couple of those. And
I
stuff.
had one as a kid.
Coon
I'll
skin
be
cap.
honest, my you know how a pit like kills stuff, it just shakes it until things start falling off, and I've got to then deal with it and essentially feed it to the turkey vultures at that point, I guess. I don't, there's not a whole lot of options. So yeah, I haven't made any hats yet. Maybe next time.
That's being resourceful.
I just make a bokashi bucket. Just put a 55-gallon drum, put some bokashi in there.
It's not
It'll break it down.
How quickly? Because those dead bodies smell pretty bad. I don't know if you know.
These bodies are stacking up, Spark.
Dude, it would not.
The bodies are stacking.
I'm telling you, the bokashi will take the smell away, and you can just throw a lid on that bitch.
I mean, I'm
They
down
use
to
it for
try
cat litter, man.
There's a known method in permaculture that you plant your animals beneath a tree, and the tree will grow very very abundantly.
And it's about fall time. I actually want to plant a couple more orchard trees here, so maybe we'll try that.
I'm still laughing at the bodies stacking up sequence.
Shout out to the Weedy Gardener, the Weedy Garden or something. He just finished his first season, and his first episode or something like that off his channel. He has a wallaby that he's in Australia for context. He has a wallaby that is.
What was my first clue?
I was thinking Texas.
He lives in
has some
St.
pretty
Louis.
lenient laws, I don't know.
His wallaby farm, but pet wallaby. He's got a roadkill wallaby that he puts beneath a mango tree on one of his, and it's got a little permaculture farm and stuff.
Is that like a fish head?
Similar to using a fish head, I guess. Yeah.
So I learned this at Camp Compost. Shout out to them. But it's not that, because you always hear you can't compost meats and things like that. It's not that you can't compost them. It's that it draws in carrion, other birds, and
digs it up,
scavenging animals, and they'll dig it up. And so
and there can be bad microbes.
So if you isolate it,
you really need to compost it. You're right, Scobo. Yeah. You really have to compost it to make sure that the E. coli and the shit like that is gone. But just because there's presence of it doesn't mean that it is going to spread or it's going to,
well, that's why you don't throw dog shit in your fucking compost that you're going to use for things that you're going to eat.
Exactly.
Well, Spartan's trying to say how to do it.
So you can use the bokashi. You're isolating all these things in a bucket or a 55-gallon drum or whatever the vessel. So there's no worry about animals coming in and interrupting the process. And the bokashi brand is almost like a fermentation and a labs really, and it's going to break all that stuff down, and then you can take that and dump it into your compost pile, and it can be broken down even further. You can make it into a thermophilic compost pile if you're worried about a viral load or things like that.
What does that mean?
That's what I want to ask Martin.
It means you mix browns, ratios of browns and greens 50-50, or it's better to go a little bit more browns than green. And then just throw your bokashi in there as added compost, and it's going to you're gonna have to turn it every once in a while to continue the process. But you just have this big pile. You want it at least 3 foot tall, and you put a big compost thermometer in it, which is just a really long pronged thermometer, and you wait till it gets warm enough to get past that the limits where all of those pathogens and things cannot survive anymore. Those microbes, as they breed in there and start breaking down all that food, it just warms that pile up and warms that pile up and warms that pile up. Yeah. And that's why you got to turn it. Once it gets too hot or whatever, you can turn it to bring that temperature back down and keep the process going. You can really
so what temperature is that? When that's really cooking like that, and you've got that.
The tote.
No, I mean, I don't have one of those yet, so I don't know.
There's a temperature to get you to that. I just don't know off the top of my head right now. The RSO is already.
Ryan is saying 160.
I'm thinking, yeah, that sounds good. I was going to say 150, 160, somewhere in that. So
that's what we do with meat, right? It's like right around there.
It's cooked, yeah.
Meat temperature 150, 160. Yeah, 160 for.
The way that they were composting, they had the 5-gallon bucket system. It was Organic Alexa, I believe, was having this talk, but she had for food scraps. So a 5-gallon bucket. So you put your food scraps in, sprinkle bokashi brand on it. You put the lid on. You just do that until that bucket is full. You go set that bucket in the fucking basement or cool dank place, and then you start another bucket. And by the time you fill that first bucket, that the other bucket, it's been sitting there for a month or however long, and you can take that and go dump it in your pile. It's done. And then
you mentioned
it doesn't stink.
You use like EM1 or just make
it is that the bokashi is really like an EM1 inoculated onto like a bran,
Rice
and
bran.
then dried out so that you have shelf stable and it can last a long period of time. So you can just sprinkle a little on here and there. The moisture from the food or whatever it is that you're breaking down brings that back. It takes it out of the sporulation or whatever it's called and brings it back, and so it can start breaking down the material.
You mentioned
if I have like a spiral ham and I throw it in there,
Yeah.
I'm on at 160 before I can eat it.
that was my
You
question about the
cooked it.
raccoons.
You can eat it right away, man.
A
I'm not gonna
spiral
cook
ham
it.
is already pre-cooked. Like,
Yeah.
you can get down when you get down. Just dust that bitch off and have at it.
Scobo knew my trick question.
But only with those Hawaiian buns and some spicy brown mustard.
Hawaiian rolls, hell yeah, man.
That's another good tip. Anything Rose
is
brought up was freezing stuff that breaks the cells. They told us, and well, we all know this with frozen food,
Right.
anyways.
Right.
Stacked up
You reheat
raccoons
it
in the
back up, it's
freezer.
like mush. So you can. That's a tip if you have extra freezer space, and you can freeze the shit. And also in the wintertime when you can't have a compost pile maybe going, just put it in the freezer and then.
So at the next event, are we going to see the Rocky Raccoon Terps come out of Fragoli Farms with the next mix?
Rocky Raccoon? What kind of turf is that?
Well, we're going to stack these
What would
6
that even taste like,
raccoon
bro?
carcasses up in the same freezer that we use for fresh frozen.
no.
Right now,
So we'll have
All right, we're gonna have to cut the show short if we go down this road. I swear to God.
no, bury them under the plants, man, not in the freezer.
stack those carcasses under the plants, says Red.
You gotta bury them.
Plant.
It's like Hugo
or
culture,
Dead animal plant.
The raccoon culture.
raccoon culture. Yeah, you put the raccoons down. and
It's
then
the
you put
trash
some rocks,
pandas.
some stuff, and then some dirt, and then put your plant there. And then yeah,
You have to take some soil tests on that one.
it'll feed it. It'll do things nicely. The microbes will love it.
Roadkill terps.
Soil, not
Do you
And
put
red-
cheese between the layers or just on top?
you may use some layers. No, you don't put the rodent doesn't go on top. The rodent goes beneath. It goes
All
He's
right,
not the
serious
cherry on
question,
top.
though,
Carcass,
Spartan.
carcass.
You mentioned viral load, and that was kind of intriguing me because I had thought about rabies and stuff, but I know that viruses don't last long without living human or whatever living tissue. So that might be a moot point when we're talking about composting. But speaking of dead animals, what about maggots? Do maggots help in terms of the breakdown,
Breaking
of
down
meats
process?
and
Absolutely.
things like that?
I would s- not in the case that I described, but if you were going to do a static, there's my tech, what I do, because that's just how I am. I like the static tech, and the static tech takes longer, and that's where you don't turn the pile, and you don't. If it heats up, for sure, yeah, it's going to heat up in the middle if it's a big pile, but you let it burn itself out and just be a big pile for a while, and that's when the worms move in. And the worms are going to do their processes where they process things through their guts, and they can nullify the viruses just like heat can, but it takes a hell of a lot longer. So you have to be way more patient with it.
I
But what I
started one
my
this year.
piles are usually 2 years. So my static pile is usually 2 years before I can start getting some compost out of them. Sometimes longer. So it's just
When you start getting compost, are you getting it from the bottom?
yeah, so what it is that you'll see the pile shrinking, and eventually it'll be really small, and you can just scrape off that top layer of uncomposted stuff or not fully composted. You can add it to your new pile, and then you can just start digging down and getting all that nice composted material after that, and just use that to layer your gardens. I put a whole new bed in by my driveway this year by my split rail fence, and all the stuff that's planted there. I had a rose bush already there, and I planted a bunch of other flowers and things, and they all just were banging. And all I did was put compost out there.
Do you have 2 piles going at once?
Yeah, right. Both corners of my backyard, the back corners are both compost piles.
Smart.
When do you?
I just started one of yours, man.
I got a question for you. When do you trim rose bushes?
I
So I've
usually
got a
don't.
couple that just get so far out of hand, dude. They legit grow like 12 feet long.
Yeah, I don't unless they get in the way. If they were in the way, I would. But I've got my rose bushes to where they're on a split rail fence next to my drive, so it would be just more beautiful if it just
Kept going.
my vision is for it to just to sprawl out over that fence and just spread
Keep
out on
pruning
it.
it.
So-
Just
Maybe
keep
I should
pruning it back.
Yeah, it is on a. I got a couple of them on a fence line, and maybe I should just start training them into it or
Top
something.
it, man.
That's
Bro,
what it
they
is.
grow so fast. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I'd train them into that fence. That would look so cool. It'd be almost look like a living fence, and I think that'd be
Mhm.
beautiful.
Okay, maybe I'll try something like that. I've got a couple fences like that. Sunflowers and things like that. Speaking of fence lines, though, man, shout out to Mrs. Fergoli, man. She
like Fergoli, your rose bush.
That small?
Yeah, just cut it back. Cut it back. I mean, that's what my mom does. She cuts ours way back. She's like, "What is with all this rose?" And she just knocks it back to almost nothing.
She's making it that way.
Yeah.
There's some additional aspects of rose, the flowers and petals, and the rose hips, the little
Deadheaded.
the little deadheaded balls after
the rose also. I mean,
you can make rose water out of that.
Like
look into that kind of things. If you're going to take cuttings or pruning, look into those things. That just, especially rose hips or rose water. There's some good healing stuff you can make out of that. So it's not like all
known as tea.
So I wanted to shout out Mrs. Fergoli, and speaking of fence lines, because dude, she was out there taking care of some of the outdoor plants recently in the last week, and she comes to me after, she's like, "Hey, I think you got a volunteer plant down there that we missed," and I'm like, "Oh yeah," because I saw one in the fence line and it was starting to bud out and flower and everything. I was like, "Oh, that's cool," like whatever, it's like 18 inches tall, I'll just see what happens. It's basically overtaken by the grass that's in the fence line too, that I have, gotten to weed whacking. But anyways, I'm asking her about it. She's like, it kind of looks like it's growing seeds. And I'm like, I think you're talking about a different type of plant or something. She's like, nope, it's a cannabis plant. It's got cannabis seeds. So I literally run out there and sure enough, there's this 2 foot tall plant with, I don't know, 200 pollen sacs sitting on it. None of them have opened yet.
Straight male.
Yeah, 100% male. This is the most male plant I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god,
dude, sitting right in the middle of my 12 outdoor plants, right on the fence line. And so I just grabbed a bottle of water and a bag, dude, and I just sprayed the ever living crap out of it with essentially an ISO and water mix, just because that's what the thing was. Neutralize it. Just got it dripping. Again, there was not a single pollen sac that was open. It just looked like it was ready, though. I mean, probably if I didn't get it, yeah, man, she's got the eye for those details that sometimes I overlook, and it's just like, oh no, I'm just looking at my 12 plants I got out here. There's no other plants growing except this little dinky one down here that's got maybe 4 grams on it or whatever. But no, sure enough, man, I had overlooked one, and we got it out of there though. And I assume nothing got pollinated or anything, but they're outdoor plants. Who knows? The neighbors could pollinate them. It's not.
That's scary still, man.
Yeah, no, it was the closest call I've ever had in terms of really just pollinating an entire crop.
Yeah, because that would have produced a good amount of pollen, even being a shorter plant. Just being that close.
One good blow of the wind.
Yeah,
and you were over count, so you got to be careful.
Technically, yeah. Fair enough. Unless that's her outdoor medical garden, then you can't say shit because she can have a lot more than that. Yeah, actually, yeah. Let's check the THC percentage on that. It probably was that.
I can't believe you didn't see it. That's kind of wild. All the way to flower.
And honestly, what it was is, it's a lack of it. Well, it was tunnel vision because I'm just going out there looking at those plants. It's so much smaller. It's the size of one branch of my flowering plants. It doesn't even come past my knee, basically. And like I said, I really haven't been very on top of weed whacking some of the fence line with the tall grass and stuff. So it kind of just blended in. But that could have been I could have been a breeder come next year, guys. You guys would have been buying seeds from me.
It'll happen, I'm sure.
Hopefully not in that way, though.
No, you can just extract your seeded plants. You're good. You don't have to let anyone.
Man, that's
still.
I mean, not the males, but yeah, definitely the seeded ones.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna have a whole bunch of citrique with seeds. Maybe it's just send them your way for Girly.
There you go.
Been waiting to run through all of your guys' stuff. Let's be real.
Oh, the whole
love to collaborate.
The whole outdoor is gonna turn into hash, so because it's gonna have seeds all in it. Of course, the males are just dripping with pollen. Pollen, I go out there and walk through, and I'm have little pollen sacs all over my shoulders and shit. Just I mean, not sacks, open pollen flowers,
Sacks.
They're just everywhere.
Just covered in sacks, bro.
Just gooched, man.
Bro, you don't even know what it's like. Dude, my tent is so caked in fucking pollen. If you just fucking barely, it's like the game Operation. Try not to touch anything, because if you come out there with all these fucking, you got pollen on you, you got fucking the actual flowers, the male flowers, they break off and fall all over, and it's just.
I was trying to prune it. I'm like pruning it because there's some dead, it's starting to like slowly like senesce off, and I'm like trying to like get some of the dead leaves. And every time I do it, it keeps like raining pollen. I'm like, son of a bitch, get the fucking fight these things, man. It is a prolific plant. It wants to breed, man. That's
yeah,
dude.
We have these like they're just a male plant, but we took everything off of them just to like grow the stalk more.
Yeah, we had all these male. No, we just like
they gelded it.
That's cool. You can make some awesome walking sticks.
Made it into a eunuch.
Trying to keep them alive. Yeah, they're kind of
castrato.
Shooting out little. It's
we
wide.
do it fast too. Like Zassel's not gonna
little what?
Shoots out a whole bunch.
Out? Is it getting actual sacks shooting out?
Yeah. Just, like shoot branches out the bottom and all kinds of shit. It's like trying so hard to live, dude. It just does not want to die, man.
Mm-hmm.
And we took everything off of it but 2 leaves. We kept 2 leaves at the top of all the males.
I love it.
There's like 5 males.
How tall is this thing?
Oh, they're about 6 feet tall. So
Dude, you can make fucking walking sticks out of that.
That's what I'm keeping around for. I'm hoping they still get girthier.
Let's start feeding it.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that a 2 foot long stick is a walking stick for Red? How short do you think he is?
6 feet tall.
He's like a little Yoda. He's like, comes out from his little fucking swamp igloo.
I could see it.
It's 6 foot tall, man.
Man.
Well, you don't wear shoes. You don't need very tall walking sticks.
You get hobbit feet, right?
There's no platforms, at least.
That's wook, man. The wook.
Have you guys ever, I mean, not necessarily grown, but even like seen or played with hops up close? Because I got an opportunity to do that for the first time. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
cannabis and hops are very closely related.
Oh yeah, they're cousins.
Farm.
But I never got to actually open up a hop, and not only was I smelling like straight up GMO in these hops, I'm not kidding you, it was straight up GMO, but it looked like when you open it up, it just looked like pollen, like the pollen sacs inside. And I don't even know what that is. I haven't looked into it whatsoever, but talk about fragrant, man.
The brewery here in Jackson, Grand River Brewery, they have it growing right out front. You can walk up to it and check it out.
This is gonna take us back when I was younger. And when I say younger, I mean I was
3 minutes, Red.
I would drink Corona, right?
Buckle up, chat.
And I would do the Corona.
Yes, it up, Red.
Specifically Corona Dos Equis. For some reason, those couple beers, man, the next day I would like, where the fuck is the weed at? And I wouldn't have any weed. It's like, where's the bag of weed? And it was me. It was just. Because
it's that beer, dude.
Corona, yeah. Dude.
Dos Equis, is so specific to a weed smell. I remember in college cracking one of those open for the first time, and like, did they brew this with like weed hops or something? Like, what is this? It smells like a joint.
They're related. I mean,
100%. And I've brewed my own beer before. I've used the container to add CO2 to my tent. You know what I mean? While it was going and everything. And I've brewed cannabis beer. I put 2 ounces of homegrown right in the 5-gallon thing as it was going and tasted awful. Let it put you on your butt for a day.
I was always curious about that. Actually,
did you do a Clementine beer? That would be.
No, cool. This is way before the days of Clementine. This is back in like Silver Kush days. If any of you guys remember that,
bring it back, man. Throw it back.
Not make a good beer, yeah.
A Clementine beer for Oktoberfest. Come on, man.
Well,
so soon.
So there would be a way. Like,
there goes the tarantula room.
Maybe a combination of the hops, or replace a bit of the hops with the cannabis.
Yeah. There's citra hops and stuff. You can kind of try to get there. Yeah.
Well, know what I found out recently? Here's a good mind blowing last minute discussion. Is they have those same aromatic terpenes that you can get from hops and those types of plants. That's what they flavor beer with. It's not necessarily the hops. They're actually adding terpenes to beer. Some of these beers we're drinking.
Flavonoids.
Yeah, man, it's kind of wild. Like, I
don't
know if that's
advertise it, the terpenes in the beer.
Oh, interesting. I haven't seen that yet. I just saw something about like a source for it, and I was like, really? The beer industry is doing this? I guess it makes sense.
Well, that takes us right up to the edge. I want to say thanks to everybody for hanging out. If you guys want to win some free things, notice I said things, shoot over to the Let's Be Buds channel for the last hour of the Last Prisoner Project. Come through tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late sesh.
See you all Thursday for Polarity Science at 10 p.m.
Thank you, everyone.
Jeez, voice.
There's Spartan's link. That'll get you there.
Do it in chat, everybody. It'd be cool even if you just can pop in for 10 minutes or 15 minutes just to show some love and show Uncle Rick. Man, I'm so fucking tired. Show
Fire
Uncle
sales
Rick.
kicking in.
Yeah. Just show him some love, man. He's looking at the numbers and getting giddy over some of these numbers. So it'd be cool to just push everybody from this show over there for even a little bit. It might get them excited. So cheers, everybody.
Tell them we
Raid. Let's raid him. Let's go.